Good morning and welcome to the King's Report this Friday, September 8th, 2017. 8th year of Chungi, 7th month, 18th day by the heavenly calendar. I'm your host, Hongni Sean Moon, the second king of Cheongguk, broadcasting live from the Cheongguk Palace. And let's first go to Tim, the agent elder, for our AccuWeather forecast. Tim.
Good morning. It's 49 degrees and light fog.
That was a good fade. Okay, go.
49 degrees and light fog in the Cheongguk area
Wow,
this morning.
49 degrees?
49, yes.
Wow, it's crisp outside, isn't it?
Yes, it's crisp. It's October.
Oh, praise Jesus. I love it. Praise Jesus.
And it's getting up to just 68 today.
Now, Tim is wearing his foundation little crown. Soon that will be pure gold and pure jewels.
I'll have to look up the definition of soon. But anyway, we continue to have a below average temperatures for our highs and also our lows. We expect increasing cloudiness today, possibly chance of a thunderstorm or shower, but not much of a chance of that, and it will continue. There was an earthquake in Mexico.
Oh wow, I heard that was coming.
8.1 or 8.2.
So that has happened.
Yeah, and there's a tsunami, not a large tsunami, but a couple of feet.
That's humongous.
But I think even it's going out toward the southwest. I think people in New Zealand are watching to see how much it's going to hit them.
Wow.
And of course, Hurricane Irma. Do we want to do Irma now, or shall we wait till the news?
Let's do Irma a little later because
okay.
Anyways,
there's so much about that.
It's massive. There's so much
massive,
about it.
Yeah. But in Mexico, the earthquake damage is still being assessed. I think at least 5 people have died there in the earthquake that struck the southern region of Mexico. All right, that's it for the weather.
Okay, Tim. Thank you very much for that update. It's interesting, natural disasters actually are not actually increasing, but it seems like they're tight. It seems like they're very concentrated in this stage moving up towards September. We'll get into it a little more, but the statistics show that actually there's a deficit of hurricanes and rainfall, some of that. But it just seems like they're congregating on the September date, which is a very interesting phenomenon. Well, everybody in the King's Report audience may be interested. See what is going on the desk of the king today. Well, look at this amazing caribou horn antler. It's not actually a horn; it's an antler, given to me by the chief. Thank you, chief, so much for this incredible gift. He received the gift of the blessing yesterday, and it was so moving to see him get blessed and just holding his wife and weeping, and it was just such a beautiful moment. He has such a tender heart, and he was blessed in 51 years of marriage, and now he is a blessed central couple. And so it's a really wonderful thing to see that, and his wife is so happy in the spirit world. But Chief, he brought this and he said he wanted to give it to the king yesterday, and wow, I mean, he said that the Lord has told me that somebody offered him $50,000 for this Native American carved antler horn, $50,000. And you can see the eagle is here. There's one eagle carved in here. I don't know if you can see that. There you go. See that the mouth is here? They actually use the shape of the horn to have an eagle here. If you turn it out this way, you'll also see another eagle right here. See that? And this big part becomes like its wing. You see? That big part becomes its wing. But then you turn around this way, and there's another eagle using this prong here and this mouth here again, carved into here by the Native Americans. There's a bear as the healer here, right here, carved in. There's a wolf right here. Eagle feathers here. There's a buffalo carved in here, and different motifs into this beautiful horn. And It's so amazing. It's so amazing to grab like this. It feels like a tremendous, it just fits in your hand like a glove. And it just is such an amazing horn. Look at that. Look at that shape. Unbelievable. I thank you, Chief, so much for this beautiful gift. I know Father would love this because Father loved the created world. He loved animals so much. He loved hunting and fishing. You know, people who actually do hunting and fishing love animals and the created kingdom so much. They interact with it at such a deeper level. You know what I mean? And they participate in the life and death cycle in every ecosystem. You know, all these vegans trying to talk about, you know, it's cruelty. Every ecosystem has what they call animal predation. And without animal predation, you actually have a destruction of any given ecosystem, such as the ones in Canada, which have been taken over by the caribou and the different elk populations. And they had to reintroduce wolves into those populations for animal predation, particularly specific for that. So even in the Garden of Eden, we would have, just like any other living ecosystem has animal predation, sure, you would have animal predation. Okay. So this idea that there is no killing, animals are not hunting each other, is just totally baloney. And even the top Christian apologist, William Lane Craig, says the same. He debates those who believe that there's only vegetarian lifestyle in the Garden of Eden, by showing different passages in the Bible, and of course then explaining that every ecosystem that God has created himself has animal predation. So hunters and fishermen actually interact with creation at such a deeper level. And because they have to engage in life and death, there's a sense of responsibility that they learn. There's a deep sense of communion and gratitude that one earns as one takes life to feed oneself. And you're not like a spoiled little brat who just buys it from the grocery store or something like that. You actually have to take it. And so thus you see the reality of that and you thank that animal. You know, so there's a deep communion that happens. Alrighty, folks, we're going to get into Hurricane Irma just a little bit later. Let's first get into Matthew 8 today. And we are in verse 10. When Jesus heard this, he was amazed. Turning to those who were following him, he said, I tell you the truth, I haven't seen faith like this. Okay, now this is when Jesus sees the faith of the Roman officer. Okay, let's get back to verse 5. When Jesus returned to Capernaum, a Roman officer came and pleaded with him, Lord, my young servant lies in bed, paralyzed and in terrible pain. Jesus said, I will come and heal him. But the officer said, Lord, I'm not worthy to have you come to my home. Just say the word from where you are, and my servant will be healed. I know this because I'm under authority of my superior officers, and I have authority over my soldiers. I only need to say go, and they go, or come, and they come. If I say to my slaves, do this, they do it. When Jesus heard this, he was amazed, turning to those who were following him, saying, I tell you the truth, I haven't seen faith like this in all Israel. And I tell you this, that many Gentiles will come from all over the world, from east and west, and sit down with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob at the feast of the kingdom of heaven. But many Israelites, those for whom the kingdom was prepared, will be thrown into outer darkness, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then Jesus said to the Roman officer, go back home because you believed it has happened. And the young servant was healed that same hour. Amen. Wow. Okay, there's a ton in there to unpack. Firstly, of course, the Spirit of God leads me to the place that Jesus himself, this is not Paul, Jesus says, many Gentiles will come from all over the world. Okay? This is not Paul, because usually we see Paul as a Gentile proselytizer. This is Jesus Christ himself saying that many Gentiles, many non-Jews, will come and sit and feast at the table with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. Okay? Wow, I mean, that's phenomenal. That's tremendous. And he's saying, look at this. But many Israelites, those for whom the kingdom was prepared will be thrown out into the outer darkness, where they will weep and gnash their teeth. They'll be thrown out. And this is the reality of the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God, no one's entitled. You are not entitled to be let in. You can never earn your way in. You don't deserve to be in the kingdom of God and to sit behind the great prophets of God. And of course, the King of Kings. But it's by God's grace that he offers a way. It's by God's grace that he allows free will to be exercised. And for those to, by the stimulation of faith and believing in him, the Creator, that one can gain entrance. It's amazing. It's an amazing thing. You know, you realize as you have your children and as they grow, you don't only see, I mean, of course you see your blood lineage and all that, but what's very important in combination with that is also faith. You can have children, but they have no faith in you, and they're entitled, and they're selfish, and they're completely on the opposite kingdom than you. You know, let's say they're leftist lunatics. Then they're in a different kingdom. They're not going to be in the kingdom. And so there's a massive difference between those children who have faith and who believe. Massive difference, massive difference. The blood lineage may be the same. Well, it's usually the case that if they have become into the free sex culture and have become leftist lunatics, they probably have left the blood lineage and have come under Satan's blood lineage and have fallen. It's much more likely that's the case if they're in that kingdom, because they think nothing's wrong and they think that there is no God, and they're brainwashed by the atheist evolutionist cult. But this is a shocking statement that Jesus is saying, non-Jews will come and sit with me. Non-Jews will come and sit with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, whom the Jews refer to as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. They refer to Yahweh as the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So that is a very shocking thing that Jesus would say that. I mean, to the Jews hearing that, they must have been so insulted, because they absolutely believed that the kingdom was there for them. And they would say, that's a fake Messiah. He's saying us Jews will be cast down into the outer darkness. Well, if you don't believe in the Messiah, you will. And this is the thing, of course, you see with the family fraud. They don't believe in the Messiah. They sit up for power. They think they're greater than everybody else because they think they have the lineage, even though they've left the lineage and fallen. They're no longer on their Father's authority, and they will be cast out into the outer darkness. Jesus, 2,000 years ago, warned the Gentiles of such things. And today, too, we can see that it's the same thing. Once again, the foolishness of the people and their inability to recognize the providence of God. We'll be right back after the short break. Stay with us on the King's Book.
down here at the range today, I just learned a new technique from the father of the .44 Magnum, Elmer Keith, which is called shooting out of the notch, which allows you to make really long distance shots and still have an extremely precise sight picture. So I brought my CW9 car down, and with this little gun, we're gonna shoot this little munchkin at 200 yards up in the hills, applying this technique, and hopefully we'll make the shot. To apply this technique, instead of using the blade of the front sight lined up with the top of the rear sight, I'm going to take the dot of the front sight and raise it up so that it's out of the notch, but I'm still going to keep the front sight on my target. Bringing that front sight up like that is going to compensate for the bullet drop over that excessively long distance with just this little gun. So if applied right, we should be making contact. Let's see how it goes. I saw this shot, so I'm a little bit out of breath because you gotta run to make sure that is what I thought it was, and it was. So while making this shot, from that distance with these white dot sights, it literally would cover the entire target. You couldn't see what you were shooting. So using the Elmer Keith technique, you were able to raise it out of the back notch, I can't breathe, out of the back notch, allowing you to keep your accuracy, aim, and also still see the target, which is key because it was a hard shot, not gonna lie. But yeah, it went great, and Elmer knows what he's talking about. And for such a small gun to be able to take that hit, I'm very impressed with this. All right, guys, be sure to like and share, and I'll see you out on the range. That was awesome. Hey, can I try that one? Yeah, let's see with the 380. Does everybody have eyes and ears?
And we are back. Welcome back to the Gamers Report this Friday, September 8th, 2017. I'm your host, Hyungja Sean Moon, the second king of Cheonil-guk. Let's go now to Tim, the Agent Elder, for an update on Hurricane Irma. Tim.
Okay, there's a lot on Irma. Let's go through the, first to start out with the article on AccuWeather.com that was posted at 9:30 last night. After blasting the northern Caribbean, a deadly Hurricane Irma will turn toward the United States, unleashing destructive winds, flooding rain, and dangerous seas across Florida starting on Saturday. Unfortunately, there is no way the United States is going to avoid another catastrophic weather event. Dr. Joel N. Myers, founder, president, and chairman of AccuWeather, said, there will be massive damage in Florida. It will be the worst single hurricane to hit Florida since Hurricane Andrew in 1992, Myers said. The current track of Irma will bring the most severe impacts to the eastern side of the state, including Miami, West Palm Beach, Melbourne, Daytona Beach, and Jacksonville. Tropical storm force conditions could be felt as far as Tampa and Key West.
Wow.
Irma remains a very powerful and destructive hurricane, AccuWeather hurricane expert Dan Katlowski said. Impacts within the projected path of Irma include the threatening wind, storm surge, and flooding rainfall hazards, Katlowski added. Conditions will rapidly deteriorate across South Florida and could turn life-threatening late Saturday into Sunday. This is when rain and hurricane-force winds will quickly intensify. Torrential rainfall, high winds, and inundating seas will then increase from south to north across the Florida peninsula on Sunday into Monday. A large fetch onshore or continually blowing winds from the ocean will cause water to pile up along the east coast of Florida, Myers explained. With the full moon a few days ago, significant flooding is likely, especially during high tide. It's a monster hurricane out there. It's bringing along with it something to be feared, Myers said, referring to the extremely angry ocean that Irma has been churning for so long. Irma shattered the global record for a cyclone to maintain 185-mile-an-hour winds for such a long duration, 33 hours. Super Typhoon Haiyan previously set the record in 2013 when it maintained winds of that level for 24 hours. Rain totals of 4 to 8 inches are expected, with localized amounts to a foot, which can lead to significant flooding issues. Poor drainage areas will be particularly susceptible to flooding from Irma's torrential rainfall, and road closures are possible. While some fluctuations in strength are likely to occur, Irma is expected to maintain major hurricane status into the weekend. Locations near the center of the storm will be buffeted by wind gusts of 100 to 150 miles an hour, which can easily knock down power lines and trees and cause damage to roofs and structures. Any land within 185 miles of the Irma's center could see damage, and any place within 50 to 60 miles of the center could experience catastrophic damage, Katlowski said. Ripple effect travel delays will be felt across the country, not only domestic but also international travel, according to Myers. How quickly Irma turns to the north after lashing Cuba, the Turks and Caicos and Bahamas will determine whether the center of the storm makes landfall in southeastern Florida or skirts right along the east coast of Florida. But I think the timing of this turn is critical for when Irma will track Sunday. If Irma turns quickly to the north and passes closer to the Bahamas, the center of the storm and worst of the rain and wind would stay offshore of the east coast of Florida. If Irma is slower to turn to the north, the storm could make landfall in South Florida, possibly the Florida Keys, later Saturday, and bring more severe impacts all the way up the Florida Peninsula. Isolated tornadoes spin-ups would threaten the areas on the northeastern side of the storm. The scenario would bring hurricane-force conditions all the way to the western side of the state. A storm surge can occur even if the center of the storm stays offshore. Although Hurricane Matthew last year passed east of Jacksonville, they experienced a flooding due to weather pushing into the St. Johns River. AccuWeather senior meteorologist Mike Dole said the same thing could happen with Irma. All interests across Florida should closely monitor the progress of Irma, heed all evacuation orders, and prepare to evacuate at a moment's notice. Preparations for the storm should not end in Florida, as locations from Georgia to the Carolinas will be next in line to face Irma's wrath. AccuWeather's preliminary estimate of potential economic costs from Hurricane Irma in the U.S. is between $50 and $100 billion, Myers said. If the eye passes right over Miami, it will be even more.
Wow. So tremendous,
Yes.
tremendous power.
Now, Fox is saying that, Fox News and the Drudge Report also linking to articles saying that the gas stations have run out of gas. So if you're not gone, you're there for the duration.
They run a gas shortage, yeah.
Yes.
Because people are getting freaked out.
Well, also because gas is not being
They
delivered.
would be delivered.
Yeah.
So it is a serious situation. Now, will it come up to Pennsylvania? Will some winds come up?
So I was looking at it, and right now the cone of uncertainty, as they call it, is sort of veering west as it comes out of Florida towards eastern Tennessee and perhaps even more. So it looks like it's going to pass to the west of us. And by the time also it comes up to that area, it's going to be a tropical depression, not even a storm. So Harvey passed right over us. I don't know if you noticed. We had that day of drizzling rain.
Yeah.
That was Harvey.
That was a dissipated Harvey.
Yes. So by the time it comes up here, even if it comes here, we will hardly notice it.
See, this is the great blessing of being up in this
Yeah.
region. People will say, "Oh, Florida is wonderful." The problem is, it's got all these hurricanes ahead.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, okay, you do have fruit growing from the trees, and you can, even in the tropical areas, you could have like these. It's easier to survive because there's a lot of fruit-bearing trees. And if you plant fruit-bearing trees, you can get a lot of harvest out of that. And there's people down in Colombia, whatever, in different parts of Latin America that do food forests. They do permaculture, and they can grow fruit year-round. and literally eat off the trees. I mean, literally.
Yeah.
But if it's in a hurricane prone area, it gets tore up. I don't believe the Amazon region is hurricane prone because it's so much inside of the jungle.
No, probably not. And, you know, I lived in Okinawa my family lived there for 3 years, and of course they would get hit by typhoons every year, strong ones. I think we even had a 180-mile-an-hour typhoon come through one time, I think. And everything, you know, all the vegetation is very low because any kind of high vegetation gets blown away,
tore up.
basically. Yeah, yeah.
Interesting. Well, thank you for that report, Tim. Now, let's go to some of the breakdown of Hurricane Irma. One thing that you can't say it's good about Irma or about Harvey, but one thing you can say is that the country's coming together. When in time of disaster, left and right doesn't matter. They come together to try to help people. Of course, the left and the media always tries to curse Trump during it, but they don't have the moral high ground when there's a disaster because people are suffering. So they have to cover the story in Irma. If they try to cover that up and try to go off Russia collusion with Trump or some stupid thing like that, people are like, what the hell? And they know, of course, they're so ridiculously fake. So there have been amazing photos coming out about Trump, and there's been amazing photos about the Masio camel hunters and duck hunters and fishermen that use their own boats to rescue people in Harvey. There was amazing pictures and stories of guys who do hunting and monster trucking, and they were using their monster truck to drive through the floods and pick people up, and even the cops were trying to tell them they don't need their help, but you know they were helping people anyways. So many wonderful stories like that, and you can see, like Paul Joseph Watson tweeted a tweet that this is America, not this, and what he said, this is America. He had a picture of. Go ahead, I'll get that photo. He said, this is America, and he had this picture of this hunter guy rescuing this child, like this African-American child, or like rescuing this Asian mom and her child. And he said, this is America. He said, not this. And Antifa was at the bottom, where he said, not this. This is not America. Antifa doesn't represent America. What represents America is like these hunters and fishers, these good quality guys who have these skills, and at time of need they come out and they save people. You know, and these are the real people that are prepared. These are the people that are aware of this kind of thing. There we go. We have Paul Joseph Watson's tweet here. He does a lot of tweeting, doesn't he? Boy, that's a lot of tweets. Let's see if we can find that there. Wow, he does a lot of tweeting, doesn't he? He's an absolute genius in terms of his breakdowns. Okay, I don't know if we can find that. He just does so many tweets. It's amazing. Hurricane Harvey is long gone in his tweet feed, isn't it? Wow. Oh, I guess you're getting to it. Yeah, okay, we're getting closer to it, looks like. Harvey. Okay. Let's see. Boy, he tweets a lot, doesn't he? Boy, that's just, it took that long to get down to Hurricane Harvey section. All right, it's probably faster just to type in a Google, Paul Joseph Watson, this is America, not this. You know what I'm saying? Okay, anyways, that was a very powerful tweet that he tweeted. But let's see what climate change alarmists don't want you to know about Hurricane Irma or Harvey. Of course, they're using the feeling that people have is that there's like an increase in hurricanes. We just talked about it. They're kind of concentrating at this time to say that global warming is in effect and Al Gore is right and that the ice caps will have melted by 2013 when they didn't, and all these kind of things. They're utilizing this. The leftist media, of course, is utilizing this to say that global warming is real. And that any climate change deniers, again, it's a religion, that's why they have to call you a denier, or unbeliever. It's basically a climate change unbeliever.
A Gentile.
A Gentile. You're a climate change Gentile. You know? So basically, they have to say that, look, there's all this climate change, and so we have to have a world government, we have to have a world tax. We have to have a carbon tax, which everybody has to pay into, to stop the CO2 emissions and to stop all this climate man-made anthropogenic change that we're creating, which we're not. And everybody has to be taxed at this massive rate for basically breathing. And by the end of a century, we'll have changed the temperature, even if all things are correct, by the statistics and by their graphs, which are always wrong. We'll have changed the temperature by like less than 0.3 of a degree or something like that, which of course won't affect anything. It's just so ridiculous how they try to sell this to get more money from the normal. It's absolutely sickening. Climate change alarmists would have us believe that Hurricane Harvey and Irma indicate as man-made or anthropogenic global warming and that drastic measures need to be taken to reduce CO2 levels. However, if one considers what real science has to say, there is a known link between sunspot cycles and hurricane seasons. InfoWars reporter Millie Weaver takes us through the science of how sunspot cycles correspond with hurricane seasons and how the elites through ages have used natural cycles to exploit the general public to their advantage. Let's look at the sunspot cycle study with Millie Weaver from InfoWars. Where's the volume at? Okay, hold on. Let's get that again. Now our audio was just working. Sometimes this happens. Our audio was just working. We tested it before.
Small mankind and the Earth is compared to our giant galaxy and the amount of planets and suns there are out there in the universe. Now recently, following Hurricane Harvey and now Hurricane Irma and even Hurricane Jose, we've seen that people have been attributing on the internet these hurricanes to a variety of different things. One idea is that these hurricanes are acts of God. Another is that these are just simply the result of man-made climate change. And we have climate alarmists out there blaming Trump and his climate policies and man-made CO2 for these hurricanes. We even have conspiracy theorists out there saying that these are government-created hurricanes by HAARP devices. But if we take a look at science, we might just find that these questions that we have out there are easily answered. If you know anything about the sun and its cycles, we find that from NASA, we have solar minimums and solar maximums. And during these periods, the solar minimums mean that there are minimal sunspots as well as sun flares. Whereas the solar maximum, we have tons of sunspots and sun flares. And these cycles actually do have a big effect on our Earth. Now, if we want to get into solar minimums, what does that mean? Well, during a solar minimum, there aren't as many sunspots or solar flares. Therefore, there's less UV radiation that's being emitted into the Earth. Now, this UV radiation actually acts as a bit of a barrier or protection against gamma rays that come from the universe, and these gamma rays are products of supernovas and other celestial events. Now these rays that come into our atmosphere, there have been scientific studies that show that these actually help in cloud formations, which that would help with creating bigger and larger storms. And all the while, when you have this UV radiation that's out there heating up the Earth's upper atmosphere. Now, when you heat up the Earth's upper atmosphere, you make it so that there's not as much of a temperature differential between the lower atmosphere and the upper atmosphere of the Earth. And when you have a greater temperature differential, which is found with solar minimums, it creates a greater likelihood of large hurricane storm systems to develop, like we've seen with Hurricane Harvey, Hurricane Irma, and even potentially Jose. Now, back in 2010, you can actually see that that was a period in time where we had a solar minimum. In fact, it was such a rare solar event that in actuality, for a 2-year period, there was almost no visible sunspots on the sun. However, this created a hurricane season that was well documented and not necessarily a part of man-made climate change, or maybe even not just an act of God taking out vengeance against people. But if you're somebody like Al Gore who wants to make a profit and knows scientists that know this stuff, you can go ahead and perfectly time your climate change books for these periods where it's going to be a solar minimum and we're going to have more hurricanes and larger storm systems. Now, I wanted to kind of get a little bit into the history of prophecy and prophesying that, you know, the world's going to end and the sun's going to go away, and if we don't all give up sacrifices or give our money to these priests that can ask for the sun god to, you know, give us the sun back, then we're going to have absolute devastation and destruction.
I'm really glad the globalists returned the sun. I think that Donald Trump helped with those negotiations, and glad we reached a good ending.
And that's what we've seen with some of these movies out there like Apocalypto. Those are true stories where we have civilizations where you had priest castes that actually did pay attention to astrology. They paid attention to the stars. They had, in the same way we have a farmer's almanac, these priests actually just retained specific information, and they could time when there was going to be an eclipse. Knowing that they could time the eclipse, they would fearmonger and tell their less informed
Like Al Gore.
populaces and minions and servants that God was going to take away the sun if they didn't do A, B, C, and D, offer up certain sacrifices, do certain things, imprinted in their minds that they need to follow the instruction of these authority figures, and without them, they would be lost and their whole world would be devastated. Some of these progressives want to cite science as the reason for their beliefs in this man-made climate change theory, that man-made CO2 and climate change is actually great enough to cause massive hurricanes. Well, check science, because NASA, several publications, scientific studies have been done on how the sun and whether the sun is in a solar minimum or maximum actually really truly has a much greater effect on the earth than us little tiny people on this planet could ever have. When you have this planet that can literally fit 1.3 million times inside of the sun, that is how huge the sun is. The solar minimum is a little bit like a miniature winter for the sun, and essentially you have less UV radiation here, and it does allow for more cloud formation, and it does allow for a colder storm, like an El Nino, so to speak. The Farmer's Almanac right now is actually predicting that this winter we're going to have a very cold and snowy winter, and it probably has something to do with
Winter camping, baby!
You're gonna have
Yeah.
occurrences that come along with a solar minimum.
Cold and snowy winter.
Solar minimum is coming. Presented by
Time to get
Science
the
at
training
NASA.
on.
Well, what's kind of interesting is while I'm looking up all of these things about how this solar minimum is coming, and the peak of this solar minimum is going to be between 2019 and 2020, and what I found interesting was that it reminded me of Game of Thrones, and how Game of Thrones over and over again kept saying, winter is coming, winter is coming, winter is coming.
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 And our Millery Sphere is even depicted at the beginning of Game of Thrones. So you had very advanced astronomers that even knew that the Earth was round prior to Columbus, and they knew how to map and predict all kinds of celestial events, including eclipses. It's also interesting that the Game of Thrones series is scheduled to end right when the high point of the solar minimum is reached. So I find it kind of interesting that you see this predictive programming. People like Al Gore coming out, releasing his movie just literally in August. And his movie before this, which was The Last Solar Minimum. So to think that they're not taking advantage of having this knowledge is a little bit naive to think that people aren't going to be taking advantage of that. This is Millie Weaver signing off for Infowars.com.
Very good job.
Reason Infowars Live has 5-star ratings.
That was a very good breakdown of solar minimums and solar maximums that actually cause hurricanes. Now, of course, you have the mainstream media saying that Hurricane Irma is the most powerful Atlantic hurricane, which it's not. Hurricanes are not increasing in severity. Hurricane is bad. It may be the worst storm to hit the U.S. since 1935, but not the most powerful ever. These are some of the articles that the mainstream media are covering that says it's the most powerful Atlantic storm in recorded history. Geography 101. Let's go to the reality. The Caribbean Sea and Gulf of Mexico are in the Atlantic Ocean, just as much as the Sargasso Sea is in the Atlantic Ocean. Describing Irma as the most powerful Atlantic hurricane ever recorded is like calling Ted Williams the all-time American League home run leader, because he hit the most home runs at Fenway Park. Among the 24 most intense Atlantic hurricanes since 1924, Irma is currently tied for second in wind speed. Look at all these. It's second tied. There's a lot of them. Look at how many there are. Even in 2005 and 88, we had them too, at that speed. You can see it's not the greatest, as the mainstream media is saying. You can see Irma's down here on minimum atmospheric pressure. There's other ones with much greater, I guess lower atmospheric pressure. The most powerful Atlantic Ocean storm in recorded history, meme, fits the narrative global warming is causing hurricanes to become more severe, another lie. Hurricanes are not increasing in severity. The National Hurricane Center's Hurricane Climatology page has a handy list of Atlantic Basin tropical storms, hurricanes, and major hurricanes from 1851 to 2014. There is no statistically meaningful trend in hurricane frequency or severity, as you can see. Tropical storms right there. While there might be somewhat statistically significant increase in the number of tropical storms, this could simply be due to improvements in the detection and identification of storms at sea. There is no statistically meaningful trend in the numbers of hurricanes or major hurricanes. There are no statistically meaningful trends in the rates at which tropical storms are blossoming into hurricanes or major hurricanes. Look at this graph. Look at that. There's really this. It looks like it's going down. There's no statistical trend at all. Look at that. See, this is where real science debunks fake science, like Al Gore, who's trying to make billions of dollars off of people. We'll take a short break, and we'll be right back after this. Stay with us.
558. 614. 646. 471.
Hello folks, I'm Justin Moon, the president of Carr Firearms Group, and today I've got the PM40 with True Glow night sights, and look at that, Magna porting. Look at that porting on that. This is our standard PM40 with the day sights, but now this model with the Magna porting and the True Glow night sights. What a difference. The .40 caliber PMs have a reputation for being quite a bit of a kicker. They do kick a lot. And so we put the Magna porting on these PM40s, and boy, what a difference does that make. It really makes this PM40 shoot a lot softer, reduces the muzzle flip, the recoil comes straight back into you, and becomes a very manageable pistol.
We are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. I'm your host, Hyungjin Sean Moon, the second king of Cheoneo Group. And we are of course, embroiled in some of the top news, but let's take a break. I want to show you some of these incredible designs. We have a lot of people, young people now getting blessed or preparing for the blessing. And one wonderful thing is to start understanding tiny homes. We're gonna actually have a project that we're gonna be embarking on with Lowell and Jamal, trying to bang out a small tiny home. That's probably our next project coming up. Trying to bang out a nice tiny home on a trailer system that is actually street legal. This is one at a very high level, but this gentleman who won an award for designing such an incredible tiny home. This couple built his own tiny home on wheels in 4 months for $22,744.06. $22,000. People, young people, by the time you're 30, first of all, you should have no debt. Okay, so don't go into debt. Don't go into the stupid student loan system and all this crap. Get into hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. You're screwed then for the next 20 years. You're gonna be a bank slave. So you don't want to go into debt. Don't go into debt. Work and make money, and then with the money you make, you can take online courses and get an internet degree, which is just as powerful in the marketplace as a non-internet degree. You know, and you don't go into debt. You don't get into the slave system, the debt banking system, where you're literally going to be paying off your student loan until you're 40, 50 years old. And you have to work, you have to basically slave away, and literally the bank is stealing your time, stealing your life, stealing your future, stealing your money. At the same time, the government's stealing it too. All right, so you got the government and stealing half of it, and then you got the banks stealing another half of it, and you're left with 25%, and you're scrounging around trying to do 3, 4, 5 jobs for the next 20 years. See how screwed you people are? Oh, people just don't understand how dangerous debt is. Okay, and you have to remember, these debt lenders, they can put you in prison, they can get you in big trouble. All right, that's another topic. Now, this gentleman made this incredible tiny house. This is one of the best tiny houses that I've seen. And it has the approval of the queen, because the girls gotta like it, the ladies gotta like it. You gotta have your spouse, your wife has to enjoy that tiny house, then she'll have a, hey, if she helps build it, that's great, but they have to enjoy it, they have to like it. Because if she likes it, you know, then she'll be happier in it. If she's, you know, the old saying, happy wife, happy life. We're not Muslims where we just, oh, you don't like it? Let me beat you. After you're beaten, now you like it. Yes, now scream Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar! You see, you listen to feminists, you get the jihadis coming. Don't take good Christian men for granted because they treat you nice. They're doing what God orders them to do. And of course, wives, you're supposed to do what God orders you to do, which is show them respect. Okay, they show you patience and love, you show them respect. Now, this tiny home, look at this, built on a trailer. It's a 4-wheel trailer. Maybe it has more wheels than that, because that looks like a pretty big trailer. But apparently this is house legal, and let's take a look at this while I'm speaking here. Now this is like a 30-minute tour, so let's not take the whole tour. But $22,744.06. This guy made this property home. Now look, that means by the time you're 30, if you can build something like this and you have a whole community of people that help you build it, not only can you launch your life together with your new spouse and your blessing, but look at that incredible house. You have this kind of beautiful house. You own your house. You've invested money that you built into your own house, not into some rented place, not into some student debt loans, etc. You own this house. Look at this. The guy has a fireplace in there too. Look at that. Look at how spacious it is in that tiny home. And that can be dragged around on a trailer. And look, you want to go on a vacation? No problem. Don't even need to pack. You just drive into your destination and park. You can park in natural parks. You can go to RV parks, or we have sanctuaries in every state in this country. Basically, you can just, you know, if you want to hang out with sanctuaries, you can go to sanctuarians properties. But look at this little tiny home. Very simple, clean line design. So obviously we're not going to be trying to build one that is at such a super high level and very complex, because we're not expert builders. But we want to start with something basic. And we're looking at this framework, I think, as a good starting point before all the accoutrements are added. But you can see how homey this guy built his system. Look at that. You can see the loft behind him as well. All the cabinets are there. A lot of storage built into the ceilings, basically. Look at that. Those things are not even full. A lot of camping gear. You know, and tiny homes also attach you to the outdoors, because you have to utilize outdoor space more, and some of these tiny homes can fold out decks. You know, so you have a larger property basically with your deck that folds out. So it gets you into more outdoor living as well, and loving the outdoors. All of our office materials that we need, with all the creature comforts of a modern appliance home. All of that stuff is in here with still tons of room to spare. Look how well organized that is. Isn't that amazing? All created in this very, what I think is very elegant looking cabinet, which, as I said earlier, frames in our living room area. Very simple design, very modern. Girls love it. Office storage space here, because every little detail in the tiny house matters. And you own the dang place. You're not renting. You own it. One space versus depends really on that space. So, for example, here we've got these two little. He's got his whole office space, little file cabinet, basically in there. Look at that.
woo, stamps on the ground. So this scanner right here opens up. I've got a whole video on this online you can check out, but this thing allows us to have a paperless office. It connects right to the computer, and any receipts or information that I have, grab those stamps. Any information that I have that I need to put into my computer.
He's very organized, isn't he?
Run it right in, and it's in there permanently. It saves it in 2 places. I mean, I won't get too much into that because you can look at.
And that's in a trailer home. It's a trailer home, but it's a tiny house. And we're gonna call ours a tiny palaces. Isn't that cool?
That's so good.
That's so good. We're gonna call this the traveling palaces. Or we could even call them the traveling palaces.
Trying to keep them as organized as we can. Recycling on the bottom.
But what a great way for a young couple to begin their life, you know what I mean? And you know, if we're able to build this pretty quickly, just put us basically, the walls with timber frames, and then you have the drywall on top, and then it's painted white.
We like to keep things simple and keep things. Everything has a home, but you can certainly.
And then put in lots of windows. It keeps it spacious.
Now, having said that, part of tiny house living is about not filling every space. You don't want to necessarily cram everything in and open every cupboard and have it look like that one with our camping gear does, where it's just totally full. That doesn't work for us energetically. We like the simplicity and the openness that we get with this kind of space usage. So in terms of
very organized, yeah, that's very nice.
It forces you to be organized, doesn't it?
You know, look how much space he's got still. He's not using anything. Look at that. He's got a ton of space.
A little box in the back. There's really nothing in here right now, which is nice. You know, if we need to have storage for extra things, maybe holiday things or something like that, where maybe we have them for part of the year, but not all the year, it's nice to have an extra space to put those things. This side over here.
Look at that nice workstation that he has.
Printer. It's a wireless printer.
For him and his wife. Look at that workstation right there at the window. Isn't that nice? Isn't that amazing? Your house is probably just as crammed as this that you're renting right now.
Here's our office.
Maybe we should build Tim Elder a tiny home for our community project. Don't quote me on that.
Well, you just told the world, so.
You see, and so they have all. Now, we're going to try to put in electric and stuff like that. This is going to be a great project for our community to do.
This is where the wheels rotate in here, and there's enough room.
Christina already said she wants to help. She just got blessed. A beautiful couple.
Yes.
Blessed by God. They're so beautiful.
Aren't they? Yes.
And yeah, it would be great. And they're excited. You know, this is also for the millennials and the young people. This is a very trendy thing. It's a very cool thing. They get a lot of sort of praise in their own age group community for being a tiny house person. You know, obviously they're not liberal lunatics, but they have, there's a whole trend in the millennials to go smaller, go tiny, have a smaller eco footprint, they call it. But, it's a cool way to begin and not go into debt. That's the real problem. More than eco footprint, which is tied to global, fake warming. It's about getting sovereignty. It's about having sovereignty instead of debt. It's about being a king instead of a slave. You know what I'm saying? It's about having that sovereignty mentality, and as a young person, you having your own house and residence and property and sovereignty. You become an owner, and especially if you help build it with your spouse, if you build it together as a project with the church community, how awesome would that be? This would be like a Habitat for Humanity project, but it would help that those young people begin their lives together. So you would be doing, the community would be doing a great project for, saving and helping a family. At the same time, they would be learning the skills to do so. Like, for example, these boys built the decks right outside in one day. Boom! They now can build the deck with proper 16-inch, spacings, timber frames, in a day.
That's an incredible skill.
One day. One day they made the new deck that's out there on the right side of the Chandigarh Palace. And they stained it. So they divided them in teams. And we now have the landscaping team, which is Gungi, Shinjun, and Yangal, are now the landscaping team. And we're seeing how well they do this month. And they, instead of, paying somebody else like $500, we're going to just have them develop a skill. And that's the landscaping budget. So they'll be paid $500 as long as they do a good job. If they don't, then it's cut in half. And Greg is the judge of that. Greg and Erlen, I guess. But look at this, full-size kitchen. I mean, look at that. That's a full-size kitchen in a tiny, it doesn't even seem like he's in a tiny home.
About this space is that it's underneath our main sleeping loft.
Do you see how huge that kitchen is for a tiny home? Look how they designed that. I mean, it has an oven, has a full oven, burners and everything, closet, bathroom, full bath, full refrigerator.
This is about 6'3" to the bottom of this. I'm just around 6 feet, a little bit below 6 feet.
So that guy's like 6 feet tall.
No problem. I don't even notice it. I don't think about it.
Look at that.
I've even got these lights that hang down.
It's got windows all around. See, girls would love that. There's no girl that's in their 20s that I think would have a problem with that. It's like a modern chic apartment. And you own it. You own the damn thing. And if you built it, that's even better. Look at that.
On the wall here, which keeps everything accessible but also out of the way, and it's kind of an elegant look. This is our four.
See how elegant that is?
We've got our silverware and whatnot. And here's just a quick detail. We have 4 of each of these things: 4 forks, 4 spoons, 4 knives. There's 4 people.
You see how elegant that is? It's so elegant. See, isn't that cool? See, Misha's a girl. Panzer's a girl. And look, they got a dog bowl too. They got a dog there too. They got like organic, like dried, produce on the bottom. It's so well organized, and that's not expensive tabletop counters. You could do granite if you want, but you don't have to. Look how clean and sleek everything is. I like the white and black motif, not because it's Illuminati colors, okay? Don't get into that. But because it creates a nice, simple, clean atmosphere with the silver and the chrome. Look, everything's, balanced together. And then they can put their own designs in. Of course, we would recommend, of course, their palace is always biblically centered, so have some biblical, stuff around framing that. But look at that. You could look at this. It's a full-size kitchen. It's a full-size kitchen in that tiny home.
Our drying rack, wine rack.
Wine rack.
I mean, this guy is living in style. $22,000 for this? You're gonna pay $22,000 easily in rent for a year in a major city. Easily in rent.
Tons more storage.
Okay.
Then we've got drawers.
In 1 year.
We've got our utility drawer. Probably the messiest part of our whole house, the utility drawer.
Look how organized. And he's got a full refrigerator. A full-size refrigerator.
Lots of room. I don't think we could
Look at that.
eat enough
Full-size refrigerator.
to fill this thing up. And I say that in an interesting way because
You could easily, raise even 1 or 2 children in here.
A lot of vegetables. Here's our juicer in the corner here. We use it every morning.
You've got a Vitamix blender, whatever that is, juicer.
We don't have a good-sized fridge. We have a little, dorm-style room fridge. We're not going to have enough space to store all that stuff.
This is fantastic. This is such a better way for young people than getting to debt slavery.
We did not want to use a ladder to access our sleeping loft.
Very clean lines, very nice lines, very, very sleek.
And we'll do work up there, just sitting comfortably on the bed. Occasionally we'll watch movies up there.
That's pretty awesome.
Whatever. We're up and down there.
And they got a fireplace in there too. Look at that. Look at that fire burning behind.
Stairs are not easy to accomplish. So what I do
They put the storage into the staircase. Look at that.
and also create storage out of it. And that's basically what we
Where do the stairs go to? Is there another story?
That's the main bedroom. The main bedroom's upstairs.
Upstairs, I see.
pull-outs for our hats,
Okay.
gloves,
But look how they have the storage right there.
all of this
Boots.
very usable space. This space in here, this main one, we're using right now to hang our jackets and longer things like that. But this is actually designed for a washer-dryer combo unit. So in the back, it's actually plumbed. If I move these aside, and this way so you can see. There's the hot water, the cold water, the drain would go out here, and there's a plug here.
Isn't that amazing?
There's also a gas line that comes up for the dryer. So it could be, if we decide to go with the washer-dryer combo, it will fit perfectly right in here, specifically designed for it. This is, again, on top of the wheel well.
Isn't that amazing? You never seen anything like this, did you, Tim? You could easily live in this. Because it's just you and Nozick's company.
On this side, we incorporated.
See, I mean, it's such a cool way. And if you want to take a little vacation, just drive, no packing. Just get in the car and drive. Take a little You know, a 1 week vacation to Palm Beach, or maybe not now in Hurricane Irma, but
not right now, no.
Okay, so a tiny
But I'll have.
or you could go stay with the Hutchinsons in Carolinas.
fit this in.
Look at this. I mean, look at that. So sleek, so cool design.
Stairs, not a
How
big deal.
dope is that, man?
This
That's
set
a
of stairs,
dope
nothing.
design.
Totally
Oh, there he goes
comfortable to go
upstairs.
up.
Look,
That
and
was
his
the-
dog is sitting. Look at that. That dog is sitting up there too.
This riser is twice as tall. That's intentional. If I had another riser here and then I had to get onto my knees, I would feel like I'm hunched over and it would be uncomfortable. From here, I can step straight into the loft.
Oh, nice detail.
That makes it much more comfortable. Also coming out, when I come out of the loft, I'm gonna go down first, I guess. When I come out of the loft, my wife especially fits incredibly comfortably here. I'm a little bit taller, so a little bit more feel here. I can step right to here, and I'm ready. I'm standing position right off the bat, ready to go.
Nice detail. I like that
You don't
detail.
have a need for really anything else here to make this comfortable. If I'm feeling like in the middle of the night, I might come down and I'm half asleep and I'm tired and I'm coming down to go to the bathroom, I can hang on to here just to give myself a little more stability coming down the stairs. It's
Yeah.
really not necessary. It's such a natural feel for the walk of the riser height and the treads and the width of the stairs. Very, very comfortable.
You know, and a house like this
So
will
here's our
prevent you from
bedroom
getting
loft.
obese.
It's very comfortable.
Because you'll feel it. You'll start feeling it.
Against, got a little light on them.
Look at that.
Read.
That's a queen size bed in there.
We can just lounge up here. It's very comfortable, very spacious. This loft is actually 10 feet deep and 8 feet wide, plus or minus.
Wow.
So lots and lots of space up here to feel comfortable.
Ton of space. Look at that.
I have to comment a little bit about
And a
the
dresser.
dog. It's important if you're going to live in a tiny house to have a relatively tiny dog. We actually have this amazing dog. His name is Oscar, and he fits in here perfectly. We also house sit or dog sit for some of our friends, and there are times where we've had Oscar plus 2 other dogs, and those other dogs happen to each be about 80 pounds. That starts to get a little tight in a tiny house, but it's doable. That's the good news. All right, so over here, back to the house.
It's amazing.
We've got our 2 sets of dressers here. This one on this side is Gabrielle.
As our kids get blessed as well, we want them to build their tiny home with their spouse. You know, of course, you know, the family will help them and their friends, whatever. And that's a great way to launch blessed couples into the atmosphere. You know what I mean? Launch them into the atmosphere. Pew, pew, pew. Now, in a Chunigong palace, in a tiny palace, you do need a weapons cabinet.
You can see here we've got
Okay, that's another part of essential sovereignty people military training. You know what I'm saying? So you do need a weapons cabinet and a, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu / knife fighting / firearms area.
You gonna fit a dojo in there?
No. You know what you can do? You can have a folding deck that folds out,
I
and
see.
then you can
Oh,
have
yeah. Yeah,
mats on top of that.
I see, yeah. You could do
But,
that.
you know, and then maybe you could put a tarp over that or something that would help it protect you from rain. But you could train outside. And that's actually healthy for your body too.
everything clean lines. I'm going to show you over here.
Oh, but that's a good point. No, that's a really good point, isn't it?
Thin, small window.
You could have just one, even this whole top loft could just be a dojo mat, and you can sleep on top of the mat.
Yes, you could.
And so if you want to train with your wife, you could still do it in your loft bedroom. You can be doing, you know, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training. So there's a lot of windows there to give a lot of spaciousness and feeling space. Look at those beautiful views.
In front of the house. So all of this glass, and even though they're
That's
not
amazing.
huge openings, it's enough to give us a
Really well designed. I mean, that is really well designed. And it's got a fireplace,
that really goes a long way.
full kitchen, full oven, full refrigerator,
Using wood, a lot of
full study place,
sort of
tons of storage,
roof pine wood.
queen size bed loft on this side, and he'll show you on the other side, he's got another bedroom.
Reflects
Oh,
light.
there are 2 bedrooms.
2 bedrooms.
Wow.
2 bedrooms.
That was a big detail for us.
And 1 bath.
Now, loft head height is always something that's important to consider. And I suppose
That's not a
when
problem for Asian people.
it comes to a peak like
Anybody with
this, you
Asian
may have
background,
a lot of headroom right up in
getting,
the peak,
you know,
down on the sides on
that's
both
not a
sides,
problem.
You don't really have any headroom at all, and you're staying the whole time.
Actually, this reminds me of the night I spent in a capsule hotel in Tokyo.
You know, and you're just gonna be there for sleeping
Yes.
in the loft.
And that's not too bad. It would be a little uncomfortable if I spent a lot of time sitting over here. The good news is this is the lowest part of the ceiling over here. This is as low as it gets in our sleeping loft and in the other secondary loft as well. So I come across, and now I'm over here. I've got lots of room, lots of comfortable headroom. It doesn't feel cramped. It doesn't feel closed in. And again, that's because it just continues to rise up.
That's a nice idea. And it sheds the rain better. It's like a lean-to system.
Only the center of my room right here where I'd have my comfort zone and everything else drops off. So the shed design makes a huge difference in opening up.
That's a good design. It's higher near the staircase.
Down the stairs, we've got a ladder here which is set up to get to our secondary loft. Now we knew we wouldn't be able to fit 2 sets of stairs in, so we opted to go with a ladder here. This space over here, our secondary loft, this is what we call our tiny house lounge. And it's amazing what a bunch of pillows can create. It's so comfortable up here. We have our TV up here for watching movies. We don't have a TV connection, but we do watch movies here.
I mean, you could put a little railing if you're a little scared, you know.
We can sit up here and read. It's another space we can
Just put a little railing there.
Our computers in if we want to do some work up here. It also acts as a guest bedroom, so when we have other people come in,
it's like a bunk bed.
They can sleep up here. Now this is with all the pillows,
isn't that amazing?
It feels a little bit, not tight, but it feels a little bit like if you're sleeping right here near a roller, you might go off the loft. But the reality is this is actually a very comfortable loft size. It's got 8 feet wide, and it's a little bit less than 6 feet deep when you get all the pillows out of here. So it's pretty comfortable.
It's a massive bunk bed.
You can move the pillows out of the way and sleep nicely against the wall, no problem at all. So again, using the windows to bring light and open the space up. We've got a window to the front, which matches.
Now remember, that is a tray. That's on a carriage. It's on
a window on the side here. Again,
what is that? What is that called?
A trailer, I think.
We come across out over the top of our living room and dining room area.
It's on a trailer.
Long, thin window.
Look at that nice long thin window. It's very smart. Very smart.
Lots of indirect light in the building. When you're downstairs, you don't really see it. You just notice the light coming in.
Phenomenal
design. In the loft,
lots of light in that house.
On the tops of the trees, so it really gets
and it's got a fireplace. That's freaking awesome. Holy Shemitah.
Not just the light, but the actual feel of the nature coming inside, which kind of brings the energy of the house into a nice.
$22,000.
Now the ladder.
That's cheaper than a Hyundai SUV.
It works really well. It's definitely functional.
You understand? That's cheaper than a Acura, whatever, SUV, Honda, something. $22,000? Dang, that's incredible. For a house. With all the accoutrements you need. Oh my gosh.
We stained it to make it match our sort of the look of our house.
Oh, it kind of stows away.
Normally a 3-stage, so there would be a third piece that actually folds the other way to get up to the attic. But because our loft is lower, we don't need all 3 of those. We just need the 2. We put some hooks on the back and attached it firmly into this piece of, it's 1/2-inch black pipe, very inexpensive, and this is mounted tightly to the wall. So we can hook that on there, we can remove the ladder.
You can remove the ladder right there.
Easy to remove. It hooks right back into position. If we want to move it over, so if here I'm getting into my cabinets, I can do that without it getting in the way of the door. If I want to move it and have more flow this way, then I can do that as well. I can just pick it up and move it, or I can just slide it across. Either way works. It works really well. Very simple and very inexpensive. Now, one of the things we looked long and hard into was finding the right fireplace to heat this building.
That's awesome.
You see a lot of the marine stoves in some of the smaller tiny homes, and they're really cool and they're very space effective, but they're not strong enough to heat a space this big, especially with the tall vaulted ceilings. So we needed something a little bit bigger. We ultimately went with a propane stove. It's a nice, simple stove, corner stove, and what we liked about it was it had very small clearances. So we only needed to be 2 inches from the back corner to the wall and 2 inches to the back corner to that wall. We've held it out a little bit more than that just because it fits the scale of the room better this way, but it's nice to have those small tolerances. This whole thing is set up on a remote control, and that's awesome too because I can turn this thing on and off as I want to use it. I can set it as a thermostat. I've got a spot where I put it on the other side of the room there to use it as a thermostat. I can also program it. So if I want to have it be, let's say during the day, I want to have it 67 degrees in the house, I can have it at 67. When I go to bed, if I wanted it 53 or 61 or 80 or whatever you like to sleep in and walk around in, you can do that as well. You can set it to that and it'll do it automatically based on the times that you set it for. Very, very convenient. We thought about doing wood and having a small wood burning stove. The challenge with that is I don't want to come home after being away for 4 or 5 days and have to heat the house back up. And also in the depths of winter, if I go away for 4 days, I don't want to have to drain all the water out of the house, so I don't run the risk of bursting pipes. So having this set up on a thermostat allows us so much more freedom to be in the house, to be away from the house, and to come back to a nice, comfortable, warm home when we come home. Under our secondary loft, again, it's the same head height, so we have that no worry about clearance, which is really
Look at that
nice.
huge
Our
bathroom for a
Now,
tiny home.
The bathroom itself is a pretty reasonably sized space. We actually opted to go a little bit bigger and create a little more comfort in here. I don't think we paid for it in the rest of the house. I think we still have a nice feel of openness in the rest of the home. The biggest thing in our bathroom is our toilet. We have it's a composting toilet, and it's a self-contained composter. So all of everything that goes in here is basically more or less in here, so it stays in there. So it takes a little bit of extra space. Obviously, a regular toilet, if you were to set up a bathroom that used a flushing toilet and had a blackwater system that captured that, you wouldn't need this big of a toilet in your house. We opted for the composter personally. We also have our towels and our robes hanging. We've got a nice tall cabinet here, which has all of our, stores all the stuff that we need in our bathroom. Again, minimalist. We don't have a ton of stuff. We just have enough to keep us comfortable and have access to the things we need. Some cool little details. Obviously, I don't shave very often, but I do have a razor to kind of keep my beard trimmed up. And we've got a plug here inside the cabinet. I can plug directly in and close this up and let it charge up so that when I'm ready to use it, it's ready to go. And I don't have to have it sitting on my sink, basically charging or out in the house. I can have it hidden away in here. Very convenient. All right, so our bathroom sink, we went for a pretty good sized sink here. Again, we could go smaller. They make them as narrow as 15 inches, but that just seemed way too small for us. So we went with a nicer, broad model.
That house is incredibly
We've
designed.
got a mirrored double door with lights in it, which is really nice because, again, our headroom, although it's very comfortable, it doesn't leave us room to put a vanity light over the top of our mirror. So having it incorporated into the mirror works really well. Gives us lots of storage space inside. And another cool detail of this unit is the lights actually go to the inside as well. So at night, when we're in here, it does illuminate the inside so we can see what's in there, which is pretty sweet. Now, the other thing that I really like about this is that the sink unit is designed specifically so that the drain valve is a pancake valve. When it drains down, it lands flat and shoots straight out. It doesn't drop and do the P-trap the way that most sinks normally do. And what that allows us is to have an operable drawer here. Lots of storage space in here, lots of room for expansion if we want to put more things in there. And when we close it closes fully. We don't run into the piping at all. We've got another one down below. This is probably the most crowded drawer of our entire house, but it's got all our first aid kits, everything we would need should anything go wrong in the house, along with other just sort of basic stuff like Band-Aids. Very, very good use of space right there. Very comfortable.
Very well
Here, right
designed.
next to it, we've got the shower. I'm going to jump across.
And shower, look at that.
Now on the other side of the wall.
That's incredible for a tiny home to fit all that stuff in there.
2'6"
That is
shower, so
incredible.
it's reasonably sized. It's not a teeny little
This
thing.
guy is absolutely
Again, I'm
architecturally
a 6 foot tall guy roughly,
genius.
and I can fit in here with total comfort. I've got a soap dispenser which has our shampoo, our conditioner, and our soap against the wall, and a shower curtain which closes off and keeps the water from splashing around. Now here, if you live in the more urban area, this big of a window in your bathroom is probably not an option, or if it is, you might want to have shades here. So for us, we've got a nice, beautiful view out here as well, and it brings lots of light into our bathroom. And it's not a small space. I can move around, I can do my stretching, my calisthenics, and all that good stuff in here. And there's lots of space.
Yeah,
but
that's
this makes it
all
feel
that
like
stuff
bigger.
in a tiny home. Look at this. This guy has designed it tremendously. This layout
Now we have this big
is
window
perfect.
here. All the way down the other end of the building, we have another window. So again, we've got like the front door and that glass window that we looked out through the living room. We've got the same thing here on either end of the house where we've got visual patterns straight through the house. A line of sight through an object makes that object feel bigger. So it's a good design tip. So thanks for joining us on the tour of home. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to learn more about this structure, please visit us at www.tinyhousebuild.com. But most of all, stay classy.
There you go. How plans and how-to videos. So probably he has plans on that. But what a tremendous, isn't that amazing? Isn't that a tremendous thing? Now, guys, look up Women Build 6 Tiny Homes on Oregon. Just write Women Build 6 Tiny Homes and you'll find it. It's a
time I said I'm yours, the first time I called you Lord. Late in the summer when a northeast breeze sang like a song through the oak trees. Pennsylvania, she kinda caught my soul, which had me a little more open to close. Walls I built, opinions I learned, covered in the ashes of bridges I burned. Blind to the arrow that was headed to my heart, but you hit the mark. When love broke through, you found me in the darkness, wandering through the desert. I was a hopeless fool. Now I'm hopelessly devoted. My chains are broken. And we all began with you. When love broke through, you found me in the darkness, wandering through the desert. I was a hopeless fool. Now I'm hopelessly devoted. My chains are broken, and it all began with you. When love broke through, and it all began with you. When love broke through. I did all that I could to undo me, but you loved me enough to pursue me. I was feeling that breeze, singing like a song through the tall oak trees. It was just another summer night, had to be the last thing on my mind. Yeah, I was all but lost in the moment. I was young and running wide open. It was just another summer night, had to be the last thing on my mind. When love broke through, you found me in the darkness, wandering through the desert. I was a hopeless fool. Now I'm hopelessly devoted. My chains are broken, and it all began with you. When love broke through, and it all began with you. When love broke through. I did all that I could to undo me, but you loved me enough to pursue me. Yeah, you drew me out of the shadows, made me believe that I mattered to you. You were there, you heard my prayer in that broke down dusty room. It was the first time I said I'm yours, the first time I called you Lord. You found me in the darkness, wandering through the desert. I was a hopeless fool. Now I'm hopelessly devoted. My chains are broken, and it all began with you. When love broke through, and it all began with you. When love broke through. Yeah, it was late in the summer when a northeast breeze sang like a song through the oak trees. Pennsylvania, she kinda caught my soul, which had me a little more open to close. Walls I built, opinions I learned, covered in the ashes of bridges I burned. Blind to the arrow that was headed to my heart, but you hit the mark. When love broke through, love me enough to pursue me. I was feeling that breeze, singing like a song through the tall oak trees. It was just another summer night, had to be the last thing on my mind. Yeah, I was all but lost in the moment. I was young and running wide open. It was just another summer night, had to be the last thing on my mind. When love broke through, you found me in the darkness, wandering through the desert. I was a hopeless fool, now I'm hopelessly devoted. My chains are broken, and it all began with you. And love broke through. I did all that I could to undo me, but you loved me enough to pursue me. Yeah, you drew me out of the shadows, made me believe that I mattered to you. You were there, you heard my prayer in that broke down dusty room. It was the first time I said I'm yours, the first time I called you Lord.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. Second King broadcasting live from the Chunnigung Palace. Take a look at this other cute little couple with a nice tiny house on wheels. Let's check this one out.
But yeah, so
Look at him jumping up the wall.
Yeah.
He's got a ninja training wall. Rock climbing ninja training wall.
Everyone in the world can watch
I
me
like
fumble
that.
trying to get up this
That's
thing.
dope, man. That's dope.
Although maybe I'm almost tall enough just to...
That dude is tall. That host is very tall. That guy's like 6'4".
Oh, now that is cool.
Yeah.
That's fun.
That is a seriously cool way of getting into a loft. And what an amazing space
That's
this
a
is.
fun
Comfortable,
place.
you've
That's
got all
a
these
fun way to get
cushions,
up there.
awesome
And you get your ninja
television.
training on.
Yeah,
Do some
so we
pull-ups on
wanted
that
the
thing.
TV
Bump,
to be
bump,
up
bump.
out of the way, that features the room because it's such a small space. So if there was a
Look how huge that space they did it.
It would be quite.
That's very
problematic.
open air. I wonder if they got
Watch
bathroom and
movies
shower in
and
that.
TV shows and stuff. So we set it up there.
While I'm up here, I really like the use of the LED lights. This is really nice.
That's a nice little touch.
Yeah, my auntie, she had a.
That's a very cute touch. Look at that. That's very cute.
Well, I'm going to climb on down and we can have a look at the kitchen.
Cool.
Look at that
This
full
kitchen
fridge.
is really lovely. It's so open. It's so inviting. You just want to get in here and start cooking, don't you?
Yeah, it's great.
Wow.
It's awesome. We just so we wanted it to be a big enough space because we usually cook together.
So basically half the
we
house
wanted
is a
to have
kitchen for
enough room.
them.
And I guess it still is a small kitchen, but it just worked.
And
yeah.
one thing we wanted to do is because there's two of us living here and we still live, you know, a very normal life. We've got 9 to 5 jobs and everything, so we didn't want to compromise on too many things. So our fridge is actually bigger than the
They're Australian.
Yeah.
We've got a full-size
They're
oven,
Australian.
full-size double sink. You know, so we wanted to make sure that we could actually fit all those things in.
Yeah, we did. We were gonna put in a gas hob. We actually bought a gas hob and everything, but we just never got around to it. And we used our little camping stove. We cooked Christmas dinner on it. Actually.
Yeah, camping
so
stove.
that's the ultimate test, right? If you can cook Christmas dinner. So yeah, it's fantastic.
Christmas dinner.
Now this is something you don't see very often in a tiny house.
On the camping style.
Table.
A full dining table.
On the
and I
camping
suppose
style.
as well, this is the sort of thing that you can do just by pushing it that little bit further to that 3-meter mark.
It's different from a British accent, isn't it?
You wouldn't really, you know, it's quite a luxury to have that much space, to have that big of a table.
That's a tremendously large kitchen. I mean, they focus on creating that large space and then creating the big kitchen.
All that sort of stuff, and obviously eating.
Big spacious window. They put a pergola and a deck out
One thing we
there.
didn't want to do is have.
But legally, it's on wheels, so legally, it's an RV. Get around the stupid laws. On the stupid laws.
In the morning and whatnot. So same thing with the table. We wanted to have proper fixed furniture. It makes it feel more like an actual home as well, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than a camping trip or something, you know.
Yeah. So we still do have a lot of the cool little storage solutions and that kind of thing that you have in tiny
Easy
houses,
storage
you know.
selection, easy storage.
Yeah, it was just because there's 2 of us. We didn't want to have too many transforming things.
Everything's hidden away.
We had to do it, you know. That's what we decided right from the start. Make it a bit bigger. Don't move it often, and we can fill in the things that we want. Yeah, so.
Very nice, very comfortable looking lounge here
Big
as well.
sofa.
Yeah, they're cool. So these are those are old cushions that we actually took off some couches that we have and upcycled them. And yeah, there's all storage under there, and that's why obviously you build a couch. I think with all the upholstery and everything, it probably would have worked out cheaper to just buy a couch and put it in here. But like, you know, in a tiny house, you need to use the space. You know, it needs to be.
So those are storage.
And under there, it swallows up so much stuff. It's got all of our camping stuff, all of our like backpacks, all that sort of thing. Yeah.
And so your bathroom, I'm guessing, is through in that door, is it?
Yep, just under here. So this is the bathroom.
Yeah.
Wow, look at
So we
that.
managed to fit a full 900 by 900 shower, and that's because we pushed out over the drawbar, so that's where that sits.
Right.
We got a smaller but still pretty big size vanity, a standard compost toilet, and yeah.
Awesome.
And so what about this space here? What goes in there?
So that's the other part that was over the drawbar, obviously, and that's the washing machine.
Yeah, so that's our laundry. We've got a normal full-size house.
They got all the washing machine.
Some coat storage, and
Yeah.
yeah, we didn't want the washing machine to be as noticeable as they are in a lot of other tiny houses.
So in this one too, they
put it
actually
in there and
have
you
2
can
lofts,
shut your door
2
and never see
potential bedrooms,
And we've still got the sleeping loft to go.
as well as full
Yeah.
kitchen,
Should
everything.
we have a look at that?
So we built it so that we could stand up.
Wow, that's pretty good.
Beside the bed and get into the bed. But I don't know if you're going to be able to stand up, Bryce.
Hey, that's such a neat idea, eh? I can at least stand up here on this step, and this is
that's
really,
good, right?
it's really good. This is really unusual to have this much space. Where did you actually get this extra height from?
Wow.
So we hadn't seen this done anywhere, but we thought we were thinking that some of your kitchen things they don't need to be full height. So the pantry, fridge, for example, don't need to be full height. So we thought if we drop the floor above those and then come up to the normal loft height, then you basically steal some height to stand up in your loft, which I haven't seen in any other tiny house.
So it works, I think, because we're both quite short. So we can stand up here, but I think, a little bit higher, taller, and obviously you can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a nice, comfortable space up here. We love sleeping in this bed. You have the best sleeps.
Also because obviously it's at the top, it's the warmest part. So that's amazing in the winter time, it's nice and warm up here in bed. And in the summertime, that's why we've got the windows, so we can vent it. And if you just open both of those, you get a really nice cross breeze.
Great.
Yeah, so it works
That's
really
really
well. And if we want to, if you want to air the whole tiny house out, we just open this window and the one at the other end, and the whole thing just gets nice and cool. One of the biggest things about us building a tiny house was
That's fantastic. You see how simple the designs can be, and with that type of training,
couldn't afford that in a normal size.
this is how wonderful that is.
Yeah, we went for
Launching
launching
new blessed families on the Father's door into the
and
atmosphere.
it's beautiful and warm in here because it wasn't really.
Isn't that great?
Yes.
Launching them
living somewhere.
with the right perspective. They know don't go into
altogether, I
debt.
think it's
You have
been
to have
about
a
45.
kingship
That's
mentality.
including the couch and all the curtains.
US $33,000 for that house. Holy schmeeta.
As I say, it was more about
That's tremendous. That's like the price of a
more
car.
money than time.
The other guy actually built it cheaper, the $22,000.
Everything on the weekends.
This is
so we
$33,000.
sort of
But I mean
source
that.
everything.
So it's all brand new.
They
stuff.
did it in more,
It's all brand new double glazing.
they
so
put a
it's
little
all
kind of
brand new
organic
double
chic,
wood, brand
old
new
barnwood
brand,
kind of
like,
cool, framing in there. too, just to spruce up the style in
in
that kind of organic way.
We've paid a
You know, or you could just choose it just to be super sleek like the last one we saw. I mean, that's tremendous. What a tremendous, you know, tiny home.
Just the time spent actually doing the work, but the time spent researching.
Very well done. And they're sitting in front of an open window right now, looking out into the open field. Amazing, look at that.
It is, yeah.
Under, in a deck, in a pergola.
You started
Look at that
building
huge deck. That
tiny
deck is bigger than that
years
house.
ago. You've been living in it for almost a year now.
Yeah.
And you're about to be selling it. How does that feel now?
It's sad,
Yeah, it is a
it's
bit
going to
sad.
be really sad to part
Yeah,
with it.
it's a lovely place to live, like it is. It's so beautiful, but it's kind of, it's just the right time for us, and it's been a big stepping stone to let us get into the property market, because it's quite a hard move to make, to get enough of a deposit together and everything, and that's why we decided to do the tiny house, was the adventure as well, and then also the financial side, and so hopefully with selling the tiny house and selling our land, we'll have a pretty good head start, you know, to get a normal house to raise a family, and yeah.
This home is
Okay, so you're using it as a transitional step,
and you have
which is
packed in
fine,
so many
good too.
really clever little features. I love the climbing wall. I really love what you've done here with dropping down the loft space as well. That's just such a clever way of approaching and really thinking three-dimensionally with your space. So congratulations to you guys on that.
Three-dimensional thinking with your space.
Beautiful. All the best for your next adventure.
All right, hit that other video with the 6 tiny homes on one parking lot. Look at all the designs that this creative woman made. Look at this. Let's take a look at this.
As a kid, we started out with all the tent forts out of the sheets and blankets that your mom would let you take outside. And
Go full screen,
then
go full
as we
screen.
got older, we wanted to use real hammers and nails. And so then we'd scour the whole neighborhood for scrap wood and then go out in the alleys behind the houses and build a little fort out of those and have our little tiny house out there.
That's a cute little,
My girlfriend that I did
hotel
that with,
community
when she
thing she
found
made.
out we were doing a tiny house hotel, she was so excited for us. Tucked back here in our nice woodsy corner of our space is the gypsy wagon. She's now about 9 feet wide, so she's not road legal. We tried something a little new and different underneath her. She actually has like a hay wagon trailer. Typically that's what the gypsy wagons were built on, just a cart. So she's not one that you want to cart around the country with that kind of trailer under it. This being as wide as it is though, you'd need a special permit to go down the road with it. In this one, we don't have a loft. We wanted just to make this nice little cozy cubby here for people to sleep in. The footrest here is actually the step to step up into the cubby for the bed. And if I have somebody that has a little bit of a mobility problem, doesn't want to climb the tiny house kind of steps, this is one that I recommend for them to rent.
Oh my God, are those all tiny houses? They all have their own personalities. So cool. That one's barn. Beach. Beach. That's a gypsy wagon. That one's
bamboo, I think.
And that one's a log cabin. And that one, I don't know.
She calls it the modern. Do you know which one we have?
Which one?
You guys want to get? Which one would you like to stay in?
I would like to stay in the beach one. Yeah.
You do?
We've never stayed. Really? This is such a cool place.
When we started talking about doing a tiny house hotel, we want to do themes to each one of the houses. This house here is the bamboo house. The almost black wood here was to mimic the siding that they do in Japan. They actually take a torch before the siding is on a house, and they actually torch the siding and char the siding, so then it's insect-proof and fireproof. And this is real bamboo. It's actually bamboo fencing. If you got up close, you can see the ridges of the metal in there holding it all together.
That's cool design.
This one is the log cabin. My husband has always wanted a log cabin in his life. This was his to design. It's really cozy inside. The interior is all cedar, all the walls, the ceiling, everything. In the summer, this house stays cooler because the log siding is a couple inches thick in the middle, and in the winter it stays warmer. This house is the modern house. It's real fun inside. It's got a plexiglass loft. The seating area is up above, and the bed is down underneath the loft. They're all on wheels, and that's what, you know, is required here in our commercial space by the city, that they're all on wheels. We're actually zoned as an RV park. This was an old parking lot. This was here with a lot of old RVs, old school bus was in here, old cars, and looking like it needed something new and fresh in it. And so we approached the owners about it, and they were very excited about it. The city required it to be fenced, and they also required it to be totally blacktopped or cement like a parking lot. Why? I don't know, but they did. You can kind of see here one of the trunks of the water and sewer and electric that is all underground. It came up in a big T, goes out behind the log cabin in the bamboo house. It's just set up exactly like an RV park is, really. If you look at the hookups, we have the electric boxes here, just like at an RV park. Your water hoses, the RV water hoses, and then this is the sewer pipe. In an RV park, people have kind of an accordion kind of pipe, but we're staying in this spot for a while, so we put the black pipe. Solid hookup on each house. That was a big investment in the property. So, but we have a pretty good long-term lease. We're going to go into the barn next here. We're very proud of this Dutch door here. My husband and son are our builders. Has a little catch here, just like, you know, the horsies in the stables could come out and hang their head out the door and get a breeze. This is 16 foot long. All our houses are 16 foot long, 8.5 foot wide to be road legal, and 13.6 tall. And that's so that you can go down the road. If you look at the walls, there's the really cool wainscoting here is actually over 100-year-old barnwood that was reclaimed from Eastern Oregon. We cleaned it all up and just clear coated all four sides of it. The stairs, they are edged with the 100-year-old barnwood. They're just made of various different shapes and sizes. You'll notice down here, this one is a pet friendly, so we have this little pull-out water and food tray for the dogs.
No, these are hotels, so they don't necessarily have tons of storage space. But you can modify so it has storage space, okay? But this gives you an idea of what kind of creative things you can do for new blessed couples that are launching into the atmosphere.
Take me up specifically for a queen size bed.
Full screen.
So there's not a whole lot of inches to spare.
Full screen, guys, full screen.
The ceiling is curved around you.
Yes, this is a gambrel roof ceiling. If you're building a tiny house and really want the most out of your space, this house feels the roomiest out of all of our houses because of this roof line. The bamboo house is a shed roof, and our office is a shed roof too. Those are probably the easiest roofs to make. This is a little more complicated as a tiny house to live in. Of course, you make it probably longer than this, and then you can eke out a lot more storage. This is looks like it's a piece of art on the wall, but
look at
really
this great idea.
It's a functional table.
That looks art, right?
Watch this. Top, then you grab the little handle down here at the bottom, and you pull it down, and it's your kitchen table and workspace.
That's a kitchen table.
And then we couldn't figure out how are we going to make this safe so the legs don't collapse or somebody doesn't kick it. So we put little magnets on the bottom of here that fits right in these little pieces on the floor, and the magnet just kind of sits right down in there.
Very nice.
And so then you got another piece of artwork behind it, so then your wall isn't bare.
Is it sturdy without?
Yeah.
The legs don't look like they're fit,
look at
right?
that big table.
Yeah, they're just a little 3/4 inch piece of wood made in a frame. Grab my hook and eye. And it's got little magnets on the back of here too. I'm giving all the trade secrets away here. We spent months trying to figure this table out. But it has a piano hinge back in here, so that's what holds the table. And then there's pieces of piano hinge up here on the top of the frame. So when somebody comes in, they just think it's a piece of art. Another custom door that we did was the bathroom door out of the recycled crates, the pallets. We'd stained all these the different colors, and it's a slider, so we can conserve space. It's got a tiny wheel on the bottom, and it rolls really nicely.
It does, even with a small wheel that doesn't look that sturdy.
Yeah. In the bathroom, this is the old gin barrel and a hammered copper sink.
Does the water go?
Oh yeah, it's like an old pump. You just lift it up, you know. In the old days, you'd have to pump, but here we're on city water, city sewer, everything. No composting toilets here at Tiny Digs either. We're right in the heart of Portland, and so we wanted to make everything easy peasy for our guests. The shower is really cute.
Yeah, it's big.
Yeah, it's plenty.
Yeah.
Plenty big.
And what is that around here?
This is galvanized metal. It works really well for the shower. It was really easy to bend and form around the corners of the wall. And then my husband and son cut a thin piece of wood and we wet it all down so that we could curve it around here. You can't miss the old ball mason jars. The kitchen, the old-fashioned barn sink. You'd not see this in too many tiny houses because it takes up a lot of room. We have mini fridges in each one of our kitchens. The couch here, it's a little IKEA hack. This was actually, I think, a little bookcase or something from IKEA. We turned it on its side, got some cushions and a little bit of wood that we put with the cushions.
Very nice.
And made a little couch out of it.
So you lived in your own tiny space for a long time, right?
Yeah, still am. We left Michigan in 2008. We sold all of our belongings and hit the road in an RV for 7 years, traveled the United States. And then the tiny house movement started taking hold and getting more steam under it. And I kept thinking, okay, what can we do to get in the tiny house movement? This one here is the bamboo house. This is a cute little gutter my husband came up with. In Thailand, when we were there, they cut the bamboo in half, and then that's the gutter on the houses. It's readily available and very, very strong.
Okay, before we go in bamboo, stop right there.
Tanzu
And let's go to
here.
some news. We'll take a break from the tiny homes. Let's go to some top news right now. New AI can guess whether you're gay or straight from a photograph. An algorithm deduced the sexuality of people on a dating site with up to 91% accuracy, raising tricky ethical questions. This is like, this is ridiculous. I mean, can you imagine a kid who is, quote, determined to be gay by some stupid AI computer and then actually believes it and then becomes gay? It's another form of brainwashing. It's another form of trying to say scientifically we can confirm that you're gay, or scientifically, genetically we can confirm that you're gay when you can't.
I think a lot of kids are ridiculous. Sort of peer pressured into
absolutely. It's a
believing
cult.
that way. Yeah,
it's a cult, and they do evangelism, and they proselytize, and they give benefits, and you're touted as a social hero.
Right. So it's cool to be gay.
It's cool. You got all these social benefits. You get praise. So for all these kids who have never been hugged by their parents and they're attention starves, etc., all this kind of thing, they just want it. They wanted the popularity. They want to be like this hero.
It's good to be a victim.
Yeah, exactly. And then they're all protected, but this is the protected class, and they're a special class of this heroic special class that we're all supposed to be worshiping. It's ridiculous.
Especially if you're white, you're all evil, but if you can be gay, then it's okay to be white.
Exactly, then you're fine. Exactly, then you're not a white supremacist.
Yes.
Unless you're Milo Yiannopoulos. That's right. And you have the wrong views.
Yeah,
unless you hold the wrong views, then you're fine.
You do have to vote Democrat, yes, that's true.
Artificial intelligence can accurately guess whether people are gay or straight based on photos of the face, according to new research suggesting that it's a gaydar. The study from Stanford University, which found that a computer algorithm could correctly distinguish between gay and straight men 81% of the time, and 74% of women had raised questions about the biological origins. There it is. I didn't have to read the article. And there it is. They're trying to say it's biological, and the computers can put it in and find out whether you're gay or straight. It's so obvious where the conclusions lay all the time with these stupid AI technologies. They're trying to hypersexualize children. They're trying to make people who are normal gay. They're trying to create wacky out people. And they're saying, you got to believe in the AI because it can compute at such a high speed, and it's so scientific and it's so accurate. No, it's not. These people are programming it to do these things, okay? You are not gay. You're not born gay. You are born to be children of God and have a man is supposed to have a wife, and a woman is supposed to have a husband. That's how God made it. Absolutely, the ethics of facial detection technology and the potential for this kind of software to violate people's privacy or be abused for what about pro-LGBT purposes, Like for evangelizing for them. Like they say, oh, well, we did a face algorithm check on you and you're actually gay, so you have to come out of the closet.
Yes, come out.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they're basically it's like calling you racist or something. It's stigmatizing you with this public social stigma image, and then they're trying to peer pressure you to force and conform to that image, which they've created for you.
Yes.
It's the ultimate form of It is the ultimate form of forced conformity, where they use technology against you in algorithms and computer-based programs, which they program themselves, by the way, to make you mentally ill and make you believe in their cult and say, look, 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 even the computer says what we tell you is true, so conform to it now and centralize power and give us more power. This is what they always do. It's always the same ridiculous, stupid program. This is ridiculous. A machine intelligence tested on the research was published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. Ooh, wow! I'm so impressed. It's the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. Wow, sounds so official. Screw the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. It's a piece of toilet paper. And first reported in The Economist was based on a sample of more than 35,000 facial images and men and women publicly posted on U.S. dating website. The researchers Michael Kosinski and Yulin Wang extracted features from the images using deep neural networks, meaning sophisticated mathematical system that learns to analyze visuals based on a large data set. That means it's too complicated for you normal people, you understand? The research found that gay men and women tend to have gender atypical features, expressions, and grooming styles. Of course, they got weird expressions and grooming styles. That's how they send signals to one another that they want to bang each other and have sex with one another. Essentially meaning gay men appeared more feminine and vice versa. The data also identifies certain trends, including that gay men had narrower jaws, longer noses, larger foreheads. Then straight men and gay women had larger jaws. You know what this thing is probably doing? It's not even probably looking at their face. It's probably looking at their background. It's probably doing checks on the background, the color, the wallpaper, all this kind of things, where they're at, their house style, their purchase. You know, Amazon can look at all your purchases. I mean, it's so easy to do this. But then they say, and when they publicize, they say, oh, we did it based on nose size. It sounds like some kind of Hitlerian dystopian reality. Just ridiculous. Sounds like some weirdo, 1984 whacked out baloney phony machine. Human judges perform much worse than the algorithm, like accurate identifying orientation about 61% of the time for men and 54% for women. When software reviewed 5 images per person, it was even more successful, minus 91% of the time, 91% of the time with men and 83% of the time with women. Broadly, that means faces contain much more information about sexual orientation that can be perceived and interpreted by the human brain, the authors wrote. The paper suggested that the findings provide strong support for the theory that sexuality stems from exposure to certain hormones before birth. Oh, yes, of course. Yes, meaning people are born gay. There you go. And being queer is not a choice. There it is. It's always the same conclusion. They couldn't get it with the genetics. They couldn't try to prove that they've been doing this since the 80s, trying to say it's a genetic, you're born genetic, you can't choose to be gay. They've been trying to prove that genetic from the 1980s, and they've been failing. So now they got some computer that is telling them what they want to believe as they pre-program the computer, and they are the ones who program the computer to look for certain things. And then to come out with a certain conclusion, which they say, look, we've been saying this since the 80s, which we never could prove, but now we have a computer machine that tells us we're right. Oh my gosh, these people are such frauds. Going around, ringing around the rosy, trying to fool people with technology, saying that they're better than God and they're creators. They're the creator. They are not the creator. God created man for woman and woman for man. Man needs woman, woman needs man. You're not born gay. Queer is not. Yes, queer is having a choice. You have a choice. It's always the same ridiculous conclusion. The machine's lower success rate would also support the notion that female sexual orientation is more fluid. Oh, really? Really? You're so authoritative. All they put out is theories as fact. All they do is create computer programmings and algorithms in AI, which they create and pre-program to be able to determine certain things. And then they show you a picture where they're pretending to show you that, oh, there's different mathematical proportions between eye size, forehead size, nose size, which can predict people are gay. That's ridiculous. That is totally ridiculous. When you know that computer program is probably what it's really doing is analyzing the different people's user platforms, or what they're seeing, how they're connected with, what communities they're in, what links they have. It's doing all that, but it's not telling you it's doing that. It's just showing some stupid graph and picture that makes it seem as if it's some kind of biological proportional thing on your face, which then you can tell whether or not a person is. This is so ridiculous. We've been defrauded by these people for 30 plus years. Why would we believe these known liars again? So ridiculous.
Well, this reminds me of how in the early 20th century, science was used to prove black people were inferior to white people because they had...
Yes, they were injecting them with syphilis.
Yeah.
The U.S. government was.
This is it's called scientific racism. So
that's what it is.
I think this is the same kind of thing going on here.
Can you imagine a young person who's been told by some computer doctor that he's gay because they ran a computer algorithm and it's absolutely certified that he's gay, and this has a 91% certification rate? Can you believe that? It would screw him up the wall. You know what I mean? For the rest of his life now, he's thinking, oh my gosh, well, the scientists and all the technology says I'm gay. Well, I guess I'm gay, you know. I know I shouldn't be gay, but all the scientific algorithms say I'm gay, and the computers all say I'm gay. You see what I'm saying? It becomes a sort of simple way to use scientific racism on these people, and then defraud them and fool them into the conclusion that you want to build into them, which is to become gender dysmorphic, which is to get them genderly hypersexualized and sexually hypersexualized, so that they can't politically stand up and they'll help you centralize power. These people are so tricky, so sneaky, and we know the psychologists and most of the psychological organizations are connected directly with the Department of Education, directly with the departments of the federal government. So they are completely biased. I want to see the funding for the Journal of Social Psychology that they're quoting there. Where's the funding? It's probably coming from the government. So ridiculous. The Washington Post reports Trump and Schumer agreed to pursue a plan to repeal the debt ceiling. President Trump and Senate Minority Leader have agreed to pursue a deal that would permanently remove the requirement that Congress repeatedly raise the debt ceiling. 3 people familiar with the decision said. Can you believe it? Schumer wants to get rid of the debt ceiling.
And Trump is going along with it.
Well, he wants to get rid of repeatedly raising the, this is a law that makes them, requires Congress to continue to raise the debt ceiling.
Yes.
Which is ridiculous. That just means go more into debt.
Yes.
What the hell are they talking about? They're just so ridiculous.
Well, now they just abolished the limit on their credit card.
Oh my gosh, this is so ridiculous. Wow.
If you want to crash the dollar, this is the way to do it.
Trump and Schumer discussed the idea Wednesday. During no votes made, the two alongside House with Pelosi agreed to work together over the next several months to try and finalize a plan. And this, of course, they're saying, it's Hurricane Harvey. We got to raise the debt limit again. 3 posters. Senate Democrats hope they will be able to finalize an agreement with Trump by December. On Thursday, Trump was asked by a reporter at the White House about abolishing the congressional process for raising the debt ceiling. He replied, there are lots of good reasons to do that.
Yeah, see, just get rid of the limit.
Another person familiar with the meeting said Vice President Pence's opening changes he considers in line with the Gephardt rule, a parliamentary rule, making it easier to tie raising the debt ceiling with Congress passing a budget. The rule is named for former House Gephardt. Ryan says that he opposes scrapping the debt limit process. So there you go. Is Trump getting taken over as he gets surrounded by the neocons? Is he being pulled into the neocon and liberal lunatic cult? We don't know, but we do know that he's in grave danger. And we know these are very trying times. But of course, we do know Trump is a very unpredictable leader, and that he does try to go along with things for the temporary, see how they work, then they can make radical changes. So we have to stay tuned. We have to stay praying for our president, make sure that he's staying on track, staying in contact with the congressmen and senators, and making sure that we start taking over the boards at the local level, as one of our guests last week told us, to start taking over the county positions. Very, very important. So that you can do a lot in terms of blocking federal crazy mandates. We hope President Trump is not taking over, But you never know with all those forces against him. We'll be right back on the short break. Stay with us on the King's Report.
I don't feel them shining when I can't see beyond my doubt. The silver lining when I've almost reached the end. Like a flood, you're rushing in. Now I'm lost in your freedom, and this world I'll overcome. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. Let hope arise and make the darkness hide. My faith is dead, I need a resurrection somehow. No, I'm lost in your freedom, and this world I'll overcome. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. He's roaring. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. And love explode and bring the dead to life. A love so bold to see a revolution somehow. And love explode and bring the dead to life. A love so bold to bring a revolution somehow. Now I'm lost in your freedom, and this world I'll overcome. My God's not dead. surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. He's roaring. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Our God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. He's roaring, he's roaring, he's roaring like a lion. God's not dead. Let love explode and bring the dead to life. A love so bold to see a revolution somehow. Let love explode and bring the dead to life. A love so bold to bring a revolution somehow. No, I'm lost in your freedom. And this world I'll overcome. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. Let hope arise and make the darkness hide. My faith is dead, I need a resurrection somehow. No, I'm lost in your freedom. And this world I'll overcome. My God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. He's roaring like a lion. He's roaring. Let heaven roar and fire fall. Come shake the ground with the sound of revival. Let heaven roar living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion. God's not dead, he's surely alive. He's living on the inside, roaring like a lion.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. Second King broadcasting live from Chanigong Palace on this beautiful, crisp, autumn-feeling morning. What's wrong with you, girl? Stop doing your yoga stretches. And we are back. Welcome back on the third hour. We are here joined with Reverend Lee and Mrs. Eric Kawa from Korea and Japan. They are sanctuary head leaders in Korea and Japan. And we're here joined with them today. Let's go over the headline news really quickly before we get into any of the important discussions here. Ryan, already shaky status with GOP colleagues, takes another hit. House Speaker Ryan's wobbly standing with staunch conservatives took a fresh hit on Thursday. While critical colleagues stopped short of demanding his ouster, they made it clear they were not content with his performance. Conservatives are optimistic and enthusiastic. Earlier this year, over the prospect of a Republican president and GOP control of Congress for the first time, have been instead frustrated by their party's inability to win any major victories. Yeah, and Ryan, of course, is a saboteur along with Trader McCain. In other news, hurricane. Students defy high school mandate prohibiting display of American flags. Look at all those American flags. The school prohibits them to do American flags on their cars, and they do American flags. Students are doing the right thing, defying their ridiculous communist, statist public school officials that are trying to ban the American flag, which is their flag, on their own cars. Meanwhile, you can do the Mexican flag, you can do any other flag you want, but you can't do an American flag that's racist. Ridiculous. DC police also believe IT staffer planted laptop to incriminate Democratic Party officials. Debbie Wasserman Schultz may be in deep trouble. DACA fail belongs to the left. These are a compilation of videos showing the DACA failures about the DACA, about the left trying to make it a, oh, Trump hates the children, oh, Trump doesn't care about the children, oh, and then they explain, no, it's called obeying the law. Trump is trying to obey the law that we have that actually Obama put in place. Hungarian PM warns the Islamization of Europe is real. Viktor Orban identifies an existential threat to European civilization. Also, let's see. Liberal Camille Paglia says transgender surgery can't change anyone's sex. DNA is set. Alex Jones, there's a war. Okay. So even the liberals, Camille Paglia, has to admit that DNA is set and you can't change anyone's sex by even transgender surgeries. I mean, now, see, they're always trying to make up science, and when science backfires and says, no, can't do that, there's a biological reality here, they get upset. Joni Turner launches class action lawsuit after CNN calls Trump a racist and his supporters complicit. Americans are now starting to stand up to the bully media. Joni Turner is filing a class action lawsuit against CNN to hold them accountable for the libel, defamation, and potential damage they've done to Trump supporters' lives. Fantastic. Fantastic. Also, sheriff says sex offenders, those with warrants, not welcome at hurricane shelters. Good. Officers will be at shelters checking IDs, and those who are sex offenders and predators are not allowed to stay. Very good. Polk County Sheriff Grady Judd put out a warning to sex offenders and predators, and even those with outstanding warrants. Well, they should put it on most government officials then, especially in the UK and a lot of the top elite in America.
Well, they actually have to convict you first.
Yes, it's true. But of course, they won't, even if you're convicted like Jeff Epstein, you can still travel around Bill Clinton and still travel around with all those top elitists and go to your pedophile island and still get off the hook and get a little slap on the wrist. And who was a big guy in Congress? A big one. who was a pedophile.
Hastert,
Dennis Hastert, who was literally sex trafficking. I mean, he got like a little slap on the wrist. I mean, it's just ridiculous how these people can get away with the satanic rituals that they're doing. And so very good that they're trying to stop the predators from entering in there. Also, Steve Bannon says Mitch McConnell demanded no more drain the swamp talk. The Republican establishment is trying to nullify the 2016 election. Now, let's go talk to our Asian representatives here because we are dealing with a North Korean crisis, of course. They've been quiet for a couple of days, but on Sunday, North Korea has successfully tested their hydrogen bomb, creating a 6.7 according to Korean sources, 6.7 degree magnitude earthquake. Now, let's have, first since it's in North Korea, let's have Reverend Lee comment on the state of the nature of Korea now, how people are dealing with it, how citizens are reacting, and what the situation there is in Korea. Reverend Lee.
그래서 사람들이 북한 미사일 발사, 그러니까 북한 상황 전체에 대해서 어떻게 생각하고 있는지 한번 말씀해 주십시오.
지금 최근에 미사일 발사 이후 그리고 이제 수소 핵 실험 이후에 국민들은 상당히 지금 불안하게 생각하고 있습니다.
Following the recent firing of the intercontinental ballistic missile and especially the hydrogen bomb, people in Korea are quite uneasy about the situation.
그리고 문재인 대통령이 이제 취임하고 난 이후에 한미 관계가 그렇게 매끄럽지가 않았습니다.
And following the inauguration of President Moon Jae-in, relations between South Korea and the United States have not been very smooth.
그리고 그 문재인 대통령은 이제 국민 지지율 그것을 믿고 지금까지 그 한미 동맹이라든지 미 한일 관계라든지 이런 부분이 동맹적인 차원에서 보면 부족했다 그렇게 생각을 하고 있는 분들이 많은 것 같습니다.
Moon Jae-in has just been relying on his public support or his opinion survey support, but he has not been doing very well in terms of maintaining the Korea-U.S. alliance.
특히 이제 사드 배치 문제를 놓고도 이것은 국민의 생명 그리고 또 한미 관계를 놓고 볼 때 그것이 빠른 속도로 그것이 설치가 돼야 되는데 그런 부분이 너무 긴 기간 만약에 그 안에 어떤 문제가 생겼으면 많은 인명이 살상될 수도 있는 그런 부분들이 소홀히 해왔다 하는 부분들이 국민들로서는 많이 느끼고 있는 부분이다 그렇게 생각합니다.
One example is the deployment of the THAAD anti-missile defense system. This is something that is necessary for the safety of the Korean people and also is important in terms of the U.S.-Korea alliance. And yet it has taken the President a very long time to complete the deployment of this system. Right. And if something had happened during this time, he was trying to block it. Yeah. And if something had happened during this time, what would he have done?
그리고 이제 지금 중국이나 러시아가 우리를 도와줄 걸로 생각하고 있었던 거 아닌가 하는 생각을 하게 됩니다.
And it appears that he may have been thinking that China and or Russia would be willing to help South Korea.
네.
What a retarded commie.
그런데 이제 중국은 지금 뭐 경제적으로 그 한중 관계가 아주 지금 나빠지는 그런 지금 방향으로 지금 계속 진전이 되고 있습니다.
But the relations between South Korea and China are deteriorating in the economic front as it keeps and it's continuing in that direction.
And Russia just pulled all the troops from the border of North Korea on that southern border. I mean northern border.
그리고 이제 러시아하고 한러 정상회담을 하고 이제 문재인 대통령이 귀국했습니다.
Moon Jae-in now has returned to Korea after having had a summit meeting with the Russian president.
예, 그런데 이번에 그 한러 정상회담을 하고 발표했을 때 이제 북한을 제재하는 문제를 놓고 사실 그 정상끼리 의견이 서로 다른 그런 부분이 이제 노출되고 있는 것은 외교적인 부분에 있어서는 아직도 부족한 게 많다 이렇게 저희들은 느끼지 않을 수 없었습니다.
After following the summit conference between the two presidents, there was a statement put out to the media, and this statement made it very clear that the two presidents had a difference of opinion in terms of the wisdom of additional economic sanctions against North Korea. And this really showed Moon Jae-in's inability in the area of diplomacy.
그리고 이제 한국의 국민들이 그 한국과 일본 지도자를 놓고 비교하는 그런 부분들이 있는 것 같습니다.
And South Korean people tend to compare their leader with the leader of Japan.
아베 수상은 지금 북한에서 이제 일본 쪽을 향해서 미사일을 쏘았을 때 뭐 지금 아베 수상이 직접 나서고 그리고 방송도 정규 방송을 중단하고 그 비상 체제로 전환시키고 국민들을 또 그 피신시키는 이제 그런 아주 그 발빠른 그런 대응을 하는데 한국에서는 그렇게 지금 계속 미사일을 쏘아도 그런 훈련 한 번 없다고 하는 것은 이것은 국민의 생명을 지키는 대통령으로서 여러 가지로 부족한 그런 모습을 지금 국민들이 바라보면서 거기에 대한 심각성을 느끼고 있다. 그렇게 생각을 하고 있습니다.
South Koreans see how when the North Korea fired a ICBM over Japan, Abe came out and he personally directed the situation. He immediately had the television stations, the broadcast stations switched to emergency broadcast, and he had the citizens take cover or evacuate, and he acted very quickly to deal with that situation. Whereas in Korea, there hasn't yet to be a single drill for a missile attack.
Well, let's let Mrs. Ericol chime in on that because she talked about Japan and Abe. What has she heard in terms of Abe his meeting with Moon Jae-in, and how Japan is reacting to the nuclear crisis with now a missile flying over Hokkaido?
Yes. 安倍首相がムン・ジェイン大統領に会ったんですか？Did they have a meeting between Abe and Moon Jae-in?
電話だけでしょ。
Just a telephone conversation, yes. それとか日本では北朝鮮がそういう ICBM を日本の上空を通して通るようにしてその発射衝突に対してどういうふうに考えていますか？日本語でどうぞ。
日本のマスコミは非常に偏向しています。
The media in Japan is very biased.
そして例えば金正恩とこのトランプ大統領が同等な立場でお互いに喧嘩していると。それで危機を煽っている。どちらかといえばトランプ大統領が悪そうな、こういう感じのマスコミの報道です。
They were reporting on the situation as if Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump are on equal moral footing, and that so these two people are fighting. And in fact, they might even say that they are blaming Trump more than Kim Jong-un for this situation.
しかしそして国民はどうかというと、どちらかというと長い間戦後71年。平和ボケをしているのが現状ですね。
The Japanese people have enjoyed peace for 71 years following the Second World War, so they're kind of in a fog of peace, I guess you can say.
しかし安倍首相とトランプ大統領の関係が非常にいいです。
But fortunately, we have a very good relationship between Prime Minister Abe and President Trump.
トランプ大統領が去年11月ですか。当選するや否やまず安倍首相が飛んできましたし、 一番最初に1月の初めに日米首脳会談もしましたし。
Right after Trump was elected last November, Abe quickly came to the United States. He was one of the first leaders to meet Trump then. And then also after Trump was inaugurated, again, there was a U.S.-Japan summit conference very quickly.
そして2月にはマティス国防長官、それから3月にはテレアソン国務長官。
And in February, Secretary Mattis, and March, Secretary Tillerson visited Japan.
そして4月ですか、ペンス副大統領が来られて、いい関係で、安倍政権といい関係で、信頼関係ができているようです。
There appears to be a very good relationship of trust established between the Trump administration and Abe's administration.
日本政府のこの危機感は非常に大きいですから、今平和ボケしてるんですけれども、放送の中で、もしミサイルが飛んできたらこのなんていうんですか、頑丈な建物のところに行くなり、あるいは地下に隠れるなり、そしてもし外にいるならば頭を伏せて頭を守ってくださいとか、そういう放送を始終流してるわけです。
So there's this good relationship between the U.S. and Japanese administrations now. And there's a good relationship of trust, and the media, although they are sort of in this fog of peace, still during their broadcast they do give instructions to people of what to do if there's a missile coming towards Japan, to go find their way into a sturdy building, or to go into a basement, or if they are caught outside, then to hide their eyes or faces. This kind of, they were given instructions on what to do in case of an attack.
そして J アラートといって、危機を知らせる、携帯電話で、国民がそういう危機を同時に感じることができるようにしてますので、心ある保守系の人たちとか心ある人たちは深刻に考えるようになってきています。
And they've established a alert system called a J alert, where an alert goes out to everyone's cell phones throughout the country, so that the people can understand immediately the severity of the situation. Everyone can receive that alert very quickly. And so people of good conscience are beginning to think more and more about this type of
now in Japan, they're doing evacuation drills. Are they doing those type of drills in Korea?
日本では한국에서는 그런 훈련을 하고 있습니까? 저 대피 훈련을? 국민들의 그 훈련을.
네, 그동안 해외 왔었습니다.
Yeah, they've always been 대피 훈련.
네, 대피 훈련을 이제 우리 한국에서는 민방위 훈련이라고.
Yeah, there has been the civil defense training that's been going on in Korea, of course, for decades. On a monthly, 한 달에 한 번씩 하는 그건가요?
네, 그렇습니다.
About once a month, yes.
그런데 이제 최근에 와서는 그런 부분들이 그렇게 심각하게 하고 있지는 않습니다.
But,
환경은 훨씬 어려워졌는데.
Even though the situation has become much worse compared to the past, actually these training exercises are not taken nearly as seriously as they were in the past. They're taken less seriously now.
日本は各自治体で始まっています。
Japan has begun doing this on a local government level.
今までになかったことです。
Until now, they were not being done, but recently, Japan has begun these.
그래서 그 언론에서는 지금 지적을 많이 하는 게 지금 이제 서울에는 이 지하철이 뭐 거의 100m 밑에 있으니까 그것을 활용해서 지금 훈련을 하면 될 텐데 왜 안 하는지 모르겠다.
The South Korean media is pointing out that the subway system in the south can go as deep as 100 meters or 300 feet. So media say you could use those spaces to have anti-missile defense training, but we're not doing it. Why is that?
Yes, so the Korean people and Japanese people right now, in different places of course, they don't know the severity of the situation within. Do they understand the power of a hydrogen bomb?
그 수소폭탄의 위력을 이해할까요? 선 이력을理解してますか?
日本は長崎の原爆、広島の原爆の経験者ですから、その10倍だ、30倍だと いう放送も出るようになって、深刻に感じる人も出てきています。
Japan, of course, experienced nuclear attacks in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, and so the broadcast, the media is pointing out that okay, it is 10 times or more than that or something like that. So they, Japan, they're able to understand it on the basis of their past experience.
제가 생각할 때는 지금 한국 그 국민들은 일본에서 느끼는 것보다는 훨씬 감도가 낮다.
I think the Koreans are much far less in terms of their understanding of this kind of a situation.
예, 일본에는 이제 그 히로시마의 원자탄이 떨어졌던 그런 부분도 알고 있고 또 지진이 나서 지진의 강도가 얼마나 크다는 것을 알고 있습니다. 그런 부분을.
The Japanese, of course, experienced the nuclear attacks, but also they've experienced earthquakes, and so they understand how powerful these forces can be.
이제, 그런데 한국에는 그렇게 이제 원자탄이 떨어져 본 적도 없고 또 지진도 그렇게 큰 지진이 난 적이 없습니다.
But Korea has not experienced a nuclear attack and has not experienced such severe earthquakes.
그러니까 머리로 그냥 그 언론에서 얘기하는 것을 머리로는 생각할 수 있지만 그것이 얼마나 심각한지 그것은 그렇게 못 느끼고 있다. 그렇게 생각이 됩니다.
They can understand with their intellectually, but what they read in the papers and so forth, but they really cannot feel it.
しかしちょっと日本は問題なのはですね、そうなってるんですけど、
はいはい。
そこからその問題が非常に重要な問題。
Car Arms, Magnum Research, and Auto Ordnance. The Car Firearms Group. With a diverse product line that blends American craftsmanship with cutting-edge technology. It's no secret why gun enthusiasts choose Car Firearms Group. From the Desert Eagle and Baby Desert Eagle made famous by Hollywood. The history of the 1911 and the Tommy gun. To the best in compact concealed carry. Car Firearms Group is not only the first name in personal defense, it's a name that has earned the respect of gun enthusiasts around the world. Concealment, innovative technology, value, accuracy, and history. Car Firearms Group. Made in the USA. Visit car.com today.
And we are back. Welcome back to the King's Report. Second King broadcasting live from the Cheonggyegung Palace, here joined on the third hour with our special guests from Korea and Japan, Mrs. Erikawa and Reverend Lee, head national directors of Sanctuary in both Korea and Japan. And we were talking about during the break that North Korea is now upcoming on a very important day for them, and that there's historically some issues. Tim, let's let them cover those issues.
はい、北海道にミサイルが上空を越えていった時、それから水爆が、実験がされた時、安倍首相はですね、トランプ大統領と日に1日に3回も4回も本当に何回も連絡を取り合って、そして軍の関係も連絡を取り合う。そこは素晴らしいわけですね。
So when the ICBM overflew Japan, when there was the hydrogen bomb test, Abe and Trump were contacting each other 3 or 4 times a day. and right after those events, and also the relationship, the communication between the militaries of the two countries was very close, and so that part of it went very well.
日米同盟ないと日本はアメリカの核の下にあるだけでその自分の国のこの防衛もできない事態ですから非常に今いい関係にあるのが一つ救いなんですけれども。
So it's good that Japan has a good relationship with the United States right now, because if it weren't for the U.S.-Japanese alliance, if it weren't for the nuclear umbrella of the United States, Japan would not have the ability to defend its own territory.
アメリカのトランプ大統領を引きずり落とそうとする動きが強いですけれど、日本もですね、7月の初めに都議会議員選挙があって自民党が惨敗したんです。そこからもうマスコミが工作をして、そして、安倍首相の支持率は 38% に落ちたとか、ずっとして今いかに安倍首相を下ろすか引きずり下ろすかその勢力が強くなっているのが現状です。
In early July, there were elections for the Tokyo Prefectural Parliament, there's the state or the state legislature, you could say, and the ruling Liberal Democratic Party had a very terrible defeat in those elections. And so since then, the Japanese media, the mainstream media, have been working very hard to try and bring about the end of the Abe administration, try to pull him down.
ですからトランプ大統領がアメリカで無事であり、日本の安倍首相が無事であるとかなり強いインパクトを北にも与えますし、中国やロシアにも与えるんですけれども、その辺がとにかく引きずり下ろそうと必死に、異常な状況で安倍下ろしが起こっています。
As long as Trump is president of the United States and Abe is a prime minister of Japan, this will have a good effect on North Korea and on China and on Russia. But in both countries, we see forces trying very hard to try and pull them down, to try to get them out of office, and so that is a concern.
Now, what is the liberal leftist lunatic commies and the mainstream media saying about Abe? What are their claims against him that say he should be removed?
安倍がどういう理由で退陣しないといけないと言ってるんですか？
つまらないですね。学園の森友学園問題だの、あるいは加計学園問題だの、特別に自分の親しい人に、あるいは自分をよく推している人を特別にして、学校の認可を与えたとか、そういうどうでもいいことですね。
There's some minor issues involving accreditations or permits given for the establishment of some schools, and the media alleges that he gave these accreditations as a kind of a favor to people who supported him or people who gave him some kind of favors or something like that. So it's really rather minor issues that are at the heart of this.
Now, when we were talking with the Hokkaido guests that we had on last week, we were talking in both Korea and Japan, they could comment on this. There's not a prepping community like there is in the U.S. The U.S. prepping community is very strong. Millions and millions of people are prepping. They prepare storable food, storable water, they prepare weapons, they prepare knives and guns, firearms. Of course, they can't do it in Japan, but they prep and prepare the electric generators and things if something goes off the grid, or the electromagnetic pulse attack, or whatever it is, even natural disaster. But there's a whole mentality of prepping. Now, in Japan and Korea, we know that there's not that mentality because they believe the government will do everything for them. But have the sanctuarians started their YouTube pages and start talking about prepping, start talking about these ideas, even showing some of these websites, for example, like InfoWars, which has different products, 50% off here. And look at this, look at all these emergency survival items. I'll show you, I'll bring it up online on the picture here.
日本では北海道のこの前ですね、の方とも話していたんですけれども、韓国とか일본이나 저 한국에서는 이런 천재나 인재를 대비해서 여러 가지 뭐 물자를 이제 비축한다든가 그런 운동이 있는지 그런 거 이제
do they have any business to look at InfoWars here?
생추리 사람들은 조금이라도 그것을 시작했는지 그걸
even starting the discussion and the 토론 online to see who is interested in those kind of
누가
things.
그런 것에 관심이 있는지 알아보기 위한 디스커션이라든가 그런 것을 온라인으로 시작했는지.
For example, in the U.S., look, InfoWars now selling a one-year supply of food for 1,800 servings. Okay.
1년치 저 식량을 살 수 있습니다.
For $1,300. Usually $2,000, but now it's $1,300.
원래는 2,000불인데 지금
Non-GMO.
1,300달러로 그저 1년치 식량을 저 팔고 있습니다.
2-week supply you can get for $71. $147 for 4-week supply. 3-month supply, $357.
그렇게 저 팔고 있어요. 저 식량을. 미국에서는 수백만 명이 그런 여기서 자가 발전기를 저 마련하다든가 그 인재 천재를 대비하는 운동이 있는데 뭐 한국이나 일본에서는 물론 저 정부가 다 해줄 것이니까 우리가 대비할 필요가 없다 이런 그 사고 방식인 것 같은데 적어도 이제 사람들이 조금씩이라도 그런 식으로 저 생각하고 그런 인식이 이제 좀 나오고 있는지.
그런데 이제 그동안 왕님께서 그 말씀을 통해서 이제 우리 생초리 식구들한테는 준비를 많이 시키도록 말씀을 주셔왔지 않습니까? 이제 거기에 따라서 이제 생초리 식구들 속에서는 이제 그런 준비하고 또 실제로 이제 작은 규모이지만 그 대비하는 이제 그런 움직임은 지금 현재 진행되고 있다고 말씀드릴 수 있습니다.
Now, what about in the general Christian population?
Let me tell you what they said. Let me tell you what they said. That because of the king has been emphasizing the need for preparing for these things, that there is, although it's still on a very small scale among sanctuarians, the beginnings of a prepping movement.
Yes, and now they can connect maybe with Christians who also know this is the end times, who understand that what time they're living in. Christians are going to be more prepared, they want to prepare more than a normal person because they don't believe in the system of the world.
기독교인들은
Or they, at least they shouldn't.
이 세상에 그런 시스템을 믿지 않으니까 말세를 믿으니까 또 그런 것을 하는 정신이 있는지도 모르겠습니다.
So there's no companies like in Korea that sell storable food for 25 years and you can get year supplies 6 months. There's no companies that do that.
한국에서는 국장님 had to import all that food that all those food that he stored. Had to be imported from the U.S.
Wow.
Had to get special government permission for that because it had never been done before.
그때 국진이 계실 때 그때 45억 원이 들어가는 돈을 투입해서
국진님 invested $4.5 million. The foundation invested $4.5 million into 국진님 to bring in emergency food supplies.
We don't have access to that, right?
We don't know.
2만 명이
지금 우리가 그것을 생처리가 성전에서 그것을
인수할
수 있습니까?
없습니다. 그게 다 없앴습니다.
They've already gotten rid of it. They got rid of it.
2만 명이 3개월 동안 먹을 수 있는 양식이었습니다.
That was a food that 20,000 people could consume over a 3-month
and
period.
They had to import it from America, because Korea doesn't have any of those kind of companies that do any preparedness.
That's right.
So they're complete at the mercy of the government. Is that correct?
그러니까 이제 뭐가 일이 났다면 이 시에는 완전히 정부에 의지할 수밖에 없네요. 그렇죠? 그렇습니까?
아닙니다. 이제 지금 개인들이 그 부분을 준비를 이제 하고 있죠.
So some individuals are preparing that kind of thing.
왕님이 덕분에서 아직日本語でしますね。王様のおかげでまだ運動にまだならない、ちょっと深刻に運動を起こさないといけないと今反省しながら思ってますが、しかし自給自足しなくちゃいけないということで。農作業をあちこちでやってますし、それから日本はですね地震の危機っていうものをいつも情報が流れて、そして備蓄用の缶詰とか備蓄用の商品とかセットがですねいろいろ売られているわけですね。だからそれと一緒にしながらとにかく。
So thanks to the king, and we are more aware of this, and so we've started farming in various locations, and also because of the constant earthquake danger in Japan, there are companies that sell canned food, for example, and other foods that will keep a long time because of the earthquake situation. Yes, and so together with that, sort of combining with that, we are able to make some kind of a small preparation, even though it's not yet enough to call it a movement, but it's very, very small yet, but we are at a very beginning stage.
You know, those are the kind of people that are going to be awake. There's one guy on YouTube in Japan who runs a channel, which I'm trying to look up now, but my internet is slowing down. But he's a hunter out there in one of the, I think, northern islands, maybe in Hokkaido. And he does hunting, he does bushcrafting, and he has a huge amount of American-made bushcraft knives as well. So very, very, very into the bushcrafting whole community. But there is a community in Japan and Korea that now has a bushcrafting community too. That's a community that's online, it's already there, and they can connect immediately with that community, both in Korea and Japan. Have they thought about that?
そういうことをやってる人がいますね。今ちょっと北海道かどっかその北の方にいる人なんですけど、YouTubeで出てます。それからこういうことをですね、日本と韓国で일본하고 한국하고 서로 협력하면서 하는 것은 어떻습니까? 서로 협조하고.
좋습니다.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
Well, let's bring it up online here. This is a bushcrafter from Japan.
그런데 이제 그 식구 분포를 보면 한국에도 일본 식구들이 많이 와서 살고 있고 또 한국 식구도 일본에 가서 있고 그러니까 그런 부분은 서로 협력하는 부분은 아주 필요하다.
Yes, there are a lot of Japanese members living in Korea, Korean members living in Japan, and so that kind of cooperation could be done between the two countries.
You know, I'm sure that this guy his YouTube name is Virtual Vice, but he's a fisherman and hunter out there in Japan. I bet you we have sanctuary people right near him. You know, but he has a big YouTube community that's following him that does all sorts of bushcraft. He's right there on camera right now. And he does a lot of reviews of bushcraft tools and stuff like this. But these kind of people are these kind of people are way more prepared. They already have all sorts of things that they're prepared. He's a Japanese in Japan, and he's fishermen. I'm sure we have lots of sanctuaries, but these are people that can provide training. You know, a lot of times they run their own schools, or they'll be happy to teach people if they want to learn. They can train in bushcrafting. They can train the people in bushcrafting, in survival skills. They can train them in fishing, hunting skills. And, you know, they love doing it. They do it anyway, but they would love to help other people learn, I'm sure. And they probably won't even charge any money if you bring supplies, stuff like that.
그人からいろんなことをいろんな분한테 여러 가지 배울 수 있을 것이다라는 말씀입니다. 아마 그저 물자를 가져오면은 그 돈을 안 받고 사람들에게 가져.
But there's a whole online community, even in Korea now. There's a Korean. Look up in Korean. We have a Korean IT guy here, and you can look up in Korean bushcrafting in Korean website or on YouTube. Korean videos on bushcrafting. Yeah. I've seen them. There's also Korean bushcrafters now that are starting to raise up. So in Korea, those are people that you can get training from and learn the basics of bushcraft, and our young people can get training in. You see, and they don't have, you know, if they don't know all the skills yet, and they can't come here directly to train with the Second King, they can still train in Korea, obviously Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and bushcrafting, survival skills and preparedness. All those kind of things start creating a mindset of preparedness. So
여기 와서 이대왕님하고 함께 훈련을 할 수 없더라도 한국이면 한국, 일본이면 일본에 있는 그런 부시크래프터 사람들 그런 사람들하고 연결해가지고 훈련을 받을 수 있을 것입니다.
Yeah, and it's a good way to connect with outside people too who are in the preparing community because they're much more on the able side. Many times are Christians, or even if they're not Christians, they can understand the value of sovereignty and Chinese Constitution.
그 천일국 그 헌법에서 말하는 그런 주권. 그런 주권의 그 가치를 이해할 수 있는 사람들입니다.
That would be very exciting to see some collaborative work done with the bushcraft community in Japan, Korea, and get to know these people and create a network with these people. That would be very wonderful to see.
그런 거 보면은 아주 그것은 좋을 것입니다.
You know, what do they think on that? If they comment on that.
그런 내용이요?
예.
그렇게 하겠습니다.
Yeah, we'll do that.
예. 내외적으로内外的にとにかく運動を起こすように、備蓄運動を起こすようにします。
Create a prepping movement in Japan.
이제 한국 같은 경우에는 이제 그 수렵 관련되어서는 최근에 이제 7명이
네.
예, 합격을 하고
네.
이제 그
yes,
사람들이
yes, yes.
이제 지금
Yes,
기존 한 2만 명 된다고 그럽니다. 수렵인들이. 그래서 그분들하고 이제 어떤 관계를 갖고
7 of our members recently passed the test for a hunting license,
진행
and
중에 있습니다.
there said about 20,000 hunters in Korea, and so this enables us to reach out to those people to connect with them.
You know, it would be wonderful if the Queen could do a bushcrafting channel where she teaches survival skills in Korean.
왕비가 한국어로 유튜브 채널을 하고 부시크래프팅 스킬 같은 것을
She would be the first woman bushcrafter, and she'd be Survival Lily in Korea. And then all of these Korean people can learn. Is there survival skills in Korea? 보자.
여성 그 부시크래프터로서는 제 1호가 될 것입니다. 한국에서.
That's not Korean survival.
하고 있는 전년이 있어요.
예?
우리는 하고 있는 전년이 있어요. 예.
We can even look at Korean bushcraft.
이마세さん.
이마세さんね.
そしてまだね他にも
네.
資料の許可を取った人も.
Now in Japan too, one young lady, she
Look at
actually had
that.
to work for a year.
Look at that. All you have to
get
do
her
is just type in
license, but she
Korean
did it.
bushcrafter, and I find this guy, Benchmade, what's it? He's a Korean bushcrafter. Bushcraft Korea Survival. There's a whole organization called Bushcraft Korea Survival.
Bushcraft Korea Survival.
Found that in 2 minutes. No, he's looking at the wrong thing. No, they're trying to find something
Bang
different.
Tenshin,
They're trying to find a show. Don't find a show. Find the organizations. Look at this. Bushcraft Korea Survival already
Bushcraft Korea
is
Survival.
there.
조직이.
And here's this guy, and he studies survival. Look at this. He has Grandpa's Brooks axes. Look at that. This guy has proper tools. Very high quality axes. I can see just right now. I can see his Grandpa's Brooks axes. And he is he's basically a prepper out there in Korea. And these people you can contact. These people you can contact directly on YouTube and connect with them and start training with them and practicing. And then, of course, they get to learn about the Cheongguk Constitution. This guy, I just typed in Korean bushcraft, and boom, I got it. See how fast that is? So this would be these kind of people are the really these kind of people would be great to connect with because not only are they ready, not only they're preparing, not only they've got some skills, they also would love. They would be surprised to hear that the Second King and all our community wants to train this stuff. They would be happy to share knowledge, I'm sure. They would happy to get training. They would happy to train together, I'm sure. And these kind of people are more the able type side, whether the Christian, Buddhist, doesn't matter. They can get closer to the Chinese Constitution, where these kind of skills are very important.
상관없이 이런 분들은 아벨적인 사람들입니다.
I mean, look at this guy here, and he's covering a bench-made bushcraft knife right here, with 2 different axes here. And you can see very clearly he's a Korean bushcrafter out there in a Korean park. Okay, so he can get access to bushcraft blades. He can get, even in Korea when I was there, I could get access to Korean survival tools. There was one little shop in what was that amount?
인사동.
No, not Insadong. Insadong doesn't. What was that big shopping mall area in the 서울에 있는 거? The big shop. I remember I bought survival tools. Survival 아저씨 만났죠 거기. Where's that big shopping mall? 사람들 다 가는. 남대문 쪽에. There's a place, a big shopping mall. Yeah, and there was a small survival store in the outdoor section. Small survival.
남대문 근처인가요? 모르겠어요.
I met him at the gun show again. Remember, we met him at the gun show again. But I was like, he's the only one. He had a tiny little survival store, and he had little canteens and containers and ferro rods, fire sparkles, little knives, and then I made a whole 5-piece kit right there in Korea. So you can get access to it. It's a small community, but if you're in early on the community, you become the pillars of that community.
아직은 사람 수가 많지 않지만 오히려 그런 이제 성장하기 전에 들어가면은 그건 그 중심 역할을 할 수 있는 거죠.
And we have all sanctuary people all around the country that already, the Second King is telling them, learn this now. So you already have a population of people that can learn, and you can become the main in that community.
그런 이제 서바이벌 하는 사람들 중에 들어가면은 그 주류를 잡을 수 있을 것입니다.
And then of course we can share the Constitution with these kind of people
그런
because
사람들한테
they're already
헌법도
able-sided.
소개해주고
They want sovereignty. They want places to train. They want private property. They want they want self-reliance.
그리고 그런 정신이 벌써 있으니까.
자기 자립. So they would be interested in the farming and the aqua farming and all this kind of stuff that we were talking about with True Father doing the fishing and hunting and aqua farming and all that kind of stuff.
아버님께서 말씀하신 그런 자연 속에서 사는 그런 내용도 그리고 수강 농법도 그런 사람들
자기 집도 만드는 거, making your own home, all these kind of things, self-reliance-based things. These are the type people.
그런 정신을 가진 사람들하고 연결하면.
And that would be so exciting. That would be a great step for Korea and Japan to start networking now, not only in sanctuary, network outside with these people, just like how we're doing in the U.S. with all these new people that are getting networked in through these kind of things, able-type people. And then creating a larger community of prepping, which then would prepare.
연결하고 아벨적인 그런 이제 공동체를 만들고. 그리고 이제 비축하고 운동을 만드는 비축 운동을 만드는 거예요.
Any final thoughts before we end our broadcast this morning?
거의 이제 끝나야 되는 시간인데 그 마지막에 하실 말씀이 있으세요?
지금 한국은 이제 북한 정권 수립 이제 69주년이 내일이죠.
Tomorrow is the 69th anniversary of the founding of the North Korean government.
아버님께서는 공산주의는 70년을 넘어갈 수 없다.
Father has said that the communism cannot go beyond 70 years.
그런데 이제 지금 한반도에는 전쟁의 위기가 감돌고 있습니다.
So on the Korean Peninsula, we see that the storm of war, storm clouds of war are gathering.
Yes.
그러나 이제 왕님께서 왕관을 쓸 수 있도록 분들이 그 왕들이 의인이 되어서 한반도에 지금 이 어려움을 어떻게 되었든 지키려고 애를 쓰고 있습니다.
The king has given us permission to make it possible for us to wear crowns, and the people who are wearing a big crown, the righteous people, are working as hard as they can to protect God's providence there.
Now, this is important. When there's a big things like big wars looming ahead, people as normal citizens feel they cannot stop that, and of course, many times they can't, but by getting control of small things like learning how to do survival, learning how to do bushcraft, these are small things, but they give you a sense of control. And they prepare you and they give a sense of confidence, survival. They can't stop a hydrogen bomb, but if you ever had to flee to somewhere where you would have more skills, you have confidence, you would have some practice that you've done, and that environment would not be so alien. So it gives you a sense of power. I'll translate that. You have to translate. What do you translate?
I thought you were ending the program.
No, we are ending. We're ending.
뭐 이런 그 전쟁이나 그 개인으로는 또 어쩔 수 없는 것처럼 좀 느끼지만 그래도 우리가 물론 그 수소 폭탄을 막을 수는 없지만 그래도 예를 들어서 어디서 피난한다든가 그런 다른 곳에 가야 된다면은 가게 된다면 거기 가서 이제 살아남을 수 있는 저 스킬을 이제 우리가 가질 수 있습니다. 그래서 그래가지고 내가 환경을 내가 컨트롤할 수 있다. 이런 그 정신을 가질 수 있습니다.
작은 파워부터 시작하고 그 작은 파워가 점점 확대돼서 많은 사람들한테 파워 줄 수 있는 그런 운동과 아벨권 자기 자립할 수 있는 소유권 자들 만날 수 있는.
Start with the small power.
今おっしゃったように私たちも2月の初めから全国各地で旧国旧アジア運動、特に北朝鮮もそうですが背後に中国が大変な力を持って日本もあちらこちらの土地を買ってますし、また北朝鮮のとその貿易をしているのが中国が 90% ですね。だから制裁を中国が本当に言うことを聞いてやればなんとかなるんですが、中国はそうしたくないし。
Since February, we've been doing the Save the Nation, Save Asia movement, not only with respect to North Korea, but China, because really China is standing behind North Korea. China has 90% of the trade of North Korea's trade, and if China would really take the economic sanctions against North Korea seriously, then this situation could be resolved.
だからサンクチャリーの私たちが 先頭になって旧国旧アジア運動国民たちに警鐘を乱打してアベル革命をしていくと、日米同盟を強化し、はい。
We are working to educate the people of Japan to really help them understand the situation and also to create more support for strengthening the Japan-U.S. alliance.
And that's our final word for today, folks. Remember to stay prepared, stay in control of small things. You know, sometimes we can't stop large things, but we can take control of our environments at a microcosmic level. We can start learning those skills which then give us power and empower us to stand up against calamity, tribulation, or even just natural disasters, okay? And preparedness is all about that. It's about having that right mindset, having the preparedness, and the ability to understand that if you're prepared, if you have skills, then you're doing a 5%, you're going to be better ready for the storm. Of course, it's all in God's hands. But again, God gives us a lot of skills. God gives us a lot of abilities, high IQ, you name it, as human beings. So we use those skills to best affect survivability, not for our own survival, but for the will of God, so that we can be used by God's providence and by His will, especially in this tribulation period. Thank you for joining us today. We'll see you tomorrow with Tim Elder, 5 a.m. sharp on the King's Report. God bless, Godspeed, and may His kingdom come.